afternoon. Hopefully you're doing fine. I'm doing okay. You know, still fighting that cold, but hey, I'm here. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Hopefully you're doing fine, because I'm doing good too. This is me, your host, Vice Capitan, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different tonight. I know for our tabletop RPG streams, we've been looking through a lot of D&D. We talked a lot about like 5e, looking through a bunch of different elements. We're going to do something a little bit different. As I mentioned before, totally down to take a look at other RPG systems as well. This is one that I've kind of had in the backlog, and I've had a PDF copy of this book for a while, and I think my physical copy's coming in the mail eventually when that gets sent out. But what I do have to say is it took me a little bit because I had to like scrub names and everything, make sure we're good. But yeah, we're going to take a look at the Shin Megami Tensei role-playing game, Tokyo Conception. To anyone who doesn't know what the hell that is, awesome. Don't worry. We're going to find out. To give you a little bit of background, though, before we sort of get into it, and I'm sure the book will elaborate once we get into, like, the introduction of the book. My knowledge of this is this was a tabletop RPG that they made in Japan, I want to say around like mid-2000s for when like Nocturne was relevant, and I've heard it's okay. it's okay. It's nothing super amazing, but it is an official way to do a Shin Megami Tensei campaign. I think there's other supplementary material that like exists out there in Japanese, but yeah, I don't have that. We've just got basically the base book, which I think is a combination of the player's handbook and a bit of the source book. So we're gonna have a lot to sort of look at and talk about. It's also gonna be very interesting because I mean, now I'm thinking about it, it's like I think a while back I think we did the stream playthrough of the game for Nocturne with Kyle, so got a lot of that. But yeah, before we sort of jump into the book, a little bit of housekeeping. Yeah, new short is out on the main channel now. And the VODs, I think tomorrow we're getting, part 4 of Final Fantasy 2, and then part 5 would be on Friday. Another short coming out on Thursday, and that's most of what I got planned up for you guys. Schedule-wise, tomorrow we're going to be taking a look, or well, not taking a look, we're going to be continuing our Kingmaker playthrough, and on Thursday, we are going to be back with more Eternal Punishment with Guy Alp. So, before we, get warmed up here and ready to go, let me just make sure this is correctly being captured. Nice, cool. Because want to make sure we're looking good here before we sort of get into it. Because we're gonna have a lot of reading and it's gonna be a lot of talking. Okay, just double check that. You know what? Let's get some more appropriate music for this, because let's just do that. Oh yeah, there we go. We'll have this stuff on in the background. Okay. Well, on that note, let me get us in here. Hey, what's up, Leaf? Just in time. All right. Welcome to the dark and mysterious world of Nocturne. Yeah, again, like I mentioned, this is going to be kind of interesting because I'm sure there are other video game adaptations. Like I know Kyle mentioned to me before that he's done a Dragon Age tabletop campaign that he DMs, and kind of interesting because again, you don't really see too many video game conversions into tabletop. Usually it's the other way around, of people converting video game stuff into a TTRPG. Hell, even like Final Fantasy's done it, vice versa, where I think it was basically based off of D&D, and then now they have their own system for 14. But go figure. We'll take a look at that maybe one day, because I do have that book, but it's a little bit trickier because it's like a paperback. So we'll see. Yeah, so welcome. This is the Shin Megami Tensei, the role-playing game, Tokyo Conception. A bit of a mouthful. I think this is, I'm pretty sure on the next page it'll tell us who is published by, because I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But, yeah, this is a reprint. That is a reprint / translation of content that was from, I think, like 2000s, something like that. So I think the music is a little bit quiet. I'm gonna punch it up a little bit. Actually, you let me know if it's a little too quiet. We'll raise it to like right there. Think that's fine? I think that's fine. Let's see. You tried that other web novel, meh. You feel decently quick. I mean, meantime, Monster Hunter is about to put out the new update. The Bubble Wyvern is coming. The Railgun Wyvern is getting arc tempered and the fan favorite. Nice. Yeah, I saw a couple of my friends were talking about that they saw the look, it's funny, they got really busy because Venom got released for Guilty Gear Strive, and then they finally were like, oh right, we should probably take a look back at Monster Hunter because they did their little showcase. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get to crack and open this book. Now, it's funny, I have read this book at least once before when it came out. It's very interesting, but I'm very curious to sort of see how I'm going to feel about it, because obviously I'm actually running this as a campaign for some of my friends. The trickier part about that is how do you run an SMT campaign for people who don't understand the setting? But hopefully we'll figure out a little bit of that as we get to it. So let me just punch this in here so we can get a good look. Get the black and white cover. Okay, we got our table of contents. Let's see. SMT arises. Okay, good. It breaks down a bit of the setting. Talks about character creation. Character creation is going to be interesting. So I know there is an excerpt of the oh my god, they did like a live play with this that you can go and watch on their YouTube channel, but sections of that is in here as an example for characters, and they have these sample characters that were used within that. So we'll talk about that as we keep going. Oh my god, there's going to be a lot of stuff. I have a feeling when it comes to rules, we're going to have a lot of interesting comparisons because, like I said, I'm familiar with like 3.5, Pathfinder 1, and now a little bit of 5e. So this is going to be kind of fun to sort of look at and compare and contrast a bit. So, ooh, banger track. Hold up. Nice. All right, well, let's get to it. And then there's like a bunch of other things, and we can always worry about that. Hold on, let me punch this out a little bit. There we go. Okay, got chapter 1, the introduction. Okay, so this is interesting. Yeah, all right. A new SMT arises. Welcome to this world of chaos and rebirth. Welcome to the Vortex world. What you hold now is a copy of Shin Megami Tensei, the role-playing game Tokyo Conception, wherein you can play in Atlus's 2003 Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne video game. Wow, talk about a mouthful, right? Let's see. But as a TTRPG. Let's see. The SMT TTRPG series dates back to the mid-90s. Really? Huh. Damn, now I have to feel like... Well, I guess I'm putting that on my list. I'm going to have to go search for those other books then. Because I had no idea it was that popular for the 90s. Okay, cool. Let's see, the TTRPG series dates back to the mid-90s, but Tokyo Conception is the first time the series has ever left Japan. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. I hope this bodes well, that maybe we can get those other books translated one day. I mean, if not, well, I'm sure someone will be mad enough to do it, but who knows. Okay. The Vortex world, where the story of the original game unfolded, was born after the conception, an event devised by a man named Hikawa, a leader of the cult known as the Ring of Gaia. It is a world teeming with gods, fairies, and other creatures, and all of them summarized with a single word: demon. Whether by chance, whether by destiny, whether by desire or not, those who remain after the conception were forced to fight for their lives. Some took in the Magatama and became fiends. Others chose to cling to their humanity, remaining human. And some poor souls could not survive without borrowing from the strength of demons. In this game, you will take the role of a human, a fiend, or a demon, and wander the Vortex world, and you will be swept into the matters that could only happen in such a place as this. Behold the Vortex world, the egg of creation. Behold the war waged between the Assembly of Nihilo and the Mantra army. And know that to survive here, you will need to unravel its mysteries. Okay, that's a really solid intro to this. Okay, so here's where it's gonna be kind of funny. So yeah, this is interesting because this book is kind of split into two halves. It's made for people that know what a TTRPG is, and then people who don't know what TTRPGs are. I'm gonna be honest, if you're in this deep and you're here with me, you probably know what a TTRPG is, I'm just saying. But then again, in the offshoot chance that you're just an SMT fan and this is your first time ever playing a tabletop RPG, well, welcome aboard. You're gonna have some fun. Well, what is a TTRPG? Well, we kind of know that part. We don't really need to recap that. But I do like that they've given a little bit of an explanation. For players, each take on a role of an imaginary individual called their character through acting as that individual to help create the story. In Tokyo Conception, that story will involve becoming a resident of the Vortex world and going on an adventure filled with risk and danger. The Game Master, meanwhile, is a unique participant whose role is to ensure that the game progresses smoothly while also handling rule decisions. It may be easiest to think of them as like the director, the scriptwriter, the stagehand, and the narrator all at once. You know, that's a really nice way to talk about a DM. I like that. That's a very clever way to say it because, yeah, you technically do all of these things as a DM, you know? You're the one who pieces it together, and the players are the actors, and they just kind of chew the scenery. Let's see. There are many games out there, but TTRPGs are unique in that you will not be concerned with winning or losing, such as with like games like chess or card games, but rather than enjoying the mechanics of the game and create with the simulation of story it creates. Let's see, by playing Tokyo Conception, the hope is for that players you experiencing being swept up into an adventure in the Vortex world, and for the Game Master, that you feel enjoyment that comes from creating your own story. Okay, well, game summary. This is going to be where things are going to start getting really wordy, really confusing, and we're going to probably have some interesting things to talk about here, because this doesn't use a D20 system. If I remember correctly, I think it's going to mention it on the next page. I think it's D10s. I think there is a D100, but you know, don't worry about that part. That's spicy. Perfect timing for spicy music. Anyways, let's see what's up. All right, game summary. To take on the role of a resident in the Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne setting, an adventure in a world where demons vie for dominance and the right to determine what the new world will be via their reason. This adventure will frequently include dungeons to explore, tough battles to fight against hostile demons. Let's see, in the TTRPG, can I get the Nekomata to pay me back $20? You know what? You absolutely can. You totally can. She'll give you $20 and then no merchant will accept it. And they'll be like, what the hell are you trying to give me? Okay. Characters. The word character indicates any living player or demon who appears in the story. Yep, that's NPCs. Okay. Player characters. Also, this is kind of funny that it's sort of explaining it like this. It's kind of silly, but we'll get to it. Okay. A player character is controlled by the player. Duh. As a result of the conception, the twisted Vortex world was born. The player characters have been forced, however reluctantly, to survive in this harsh realm. Goals of the PCs. Survive. Yep, that's about right. Let's see. Above all, the first goal of the player character is to survive the Vortex world. Should they succeed in that, the players shall be faced with choices for the Vortex world. Or should be faced with choices. For the Vortex world is an egg, and those who live here, the ultimate goal is to gather Magatsuhi into their Himoragi enough to make their own reason a reality. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to break down a lot of this because this is going to get wordy and confusing. Let's see. Even though there are enough... Let's see. Okay, Magatsuhi into Himoragi enough to make their own reason a reality and thus become the creators of a new world. Whether or not the PCs themselves will choose to pursue this or that goal is up to them. However, one thing is certain in the turbulent Vortex world, player characters will not be allowed to live peaceful and quiet lives. Yeah, that's not happening. We do need to make it a hostile environment, which is going to be tricky because, you know, it's very easy in a D&D setting or like a tabletop setting with your party to fall into that situation. We do have to make it hostile. We do have to make it a bit oppressive. That can be tricky because you have to draw a fine line as a DM and say, well, what's fair? Because is being oppressive, being unfair, or being just on the knife's edge. And to me, I think that's really where that lies, because it's tricky because you want the world to feel deadly, and especially in a setting like this where, yes, it is very deadly. We need to figure out how we balance that, and I guess we're going to find that out as we keep going. Okay, overview. In this section, you will find an explanation of what you need in order to play the game. Sure. Okay. Necessary items. The rulebook. Yup. At least 2 10-sided dice. Okay, so 2d10 per player. Writing tools. A story in mind called the scenario. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay. Before playing, you should read this book so you know how and where to implement important information later. You may also find it prudent to apply sticky notes to important pages or to copy the information down for easier reference later. Yeah. In particular, you'll want to make certain, though, you have a review sheet, character sheets for all players, perhaps even a few extra. There's a high likelihood that at least one player will be interested in playing the game. Will be interested in playing as a demon as well. So making copies of demons, they are. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna need to talk about the demons, but we'll talk about the demons when we get there. There's a lot of talk about demons. I mean, this is a goddamn SMT book, so you bet your ass we're gonna be talking about a lot of demon stuff. You know. Is what it is. Okay. Let's see. There's a high likelihood that at least one player will be interested in playing a demon as well, so making copies of demons, they're usable, makes it easier for them. Okay. Dice. To play Tokyo Conception, you will use 2 10-sided dice, typically marked from 0 to 9. Okay. Let's see, you're going to be rolling d10s. By rolling dice together, you may find a result from 1 to 100, which is called the percentile roll. Got it. Okay. Designate one of the dice as your tens digit and the other one. Interesting. I've actually never done it that way, but okay. Let's see, designate one of your dice as your tens digit die before rolling, and etc. Your tens digit shows a 5, then ones. Okay, got it. Then the other one will be your ones digit. So then if you roll a 5 and then a 1, that means you have a 51 for percentile rolls. Okay, it may be best to use different colored dice to help determine which die is a 10 and which one is the singles. However, if you do so, make sure you know that. Okay. Writing tools. I mean, to be honest, if you're probably playing this, you might be playing it in a digital tabletop, so yeah. I mean, in that same regard, if we're playing in a virtual tabletop, you could just roll a 1d100, you know? I'm sure that'll be just as effective, to be honest with you. Just saying. Okay. Writing tools, we already know that. Let's see, scenario. The GM will need to have a scenario in mind, which will form the outline for the session's adventure. For your first session, you may want to use, or you may wish to use one of the pre-made scenarios on page 279, or glance over the ideal or the scenario ideas list on page 288. Experienced GMs can feel free to create any scenario they like. Of course, some ideas on how to formulate your own concepts as the Game Master can be found on in the Game Master chapter on page 272. Cool. Okay, interesting. TTRPGs such as Tokyo Conception can't be played on your own, as you need to gather some friends to play with you. Ouch. Sorry if you don't have friends. Generally, you will want 3 to 5 players, or 4 to 6 participants total if you include the GM. The GM should ideally be someone who has experience in running both TTRPGs and experience with the Shin Megami Tensei series in general. If no one has such experience, then consider the person who owns this rulebook challenged to become the GM. Damn, they really called me out, huh? So yeah, it's kind of interesting. So for me, I'm basically going to be the DM for the session, or well, I'm going to be running a one-shot of this for my friends on the side. So this is going to be kind of interesting because I need to basically set up a scenario for them, and it's tricky because again, they don't know much about SMT. There's like maybe 2 people, excluding myself, in the group that know about SMT, and it's basically how do you sell this to people who primarily just play D&D or like fantasy tabletop games. So it's kind of a big shakeup from what we usually do, since it would be a modern setting, then into an apocalyptic setting. You know what I mean? I mean, as rules as written, you know, SMT is basically Mad Max. It's Mad Max with demons, you know? And don't worry, we're going to talk a lot about the game mechanics, because the game mechanics get kind of complicated. And I'm sure that's going to be something. But let's keep going. Yo, what's up, Oni? Let's see. Time. A single session of Tokyo Conception can take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, so determine that time. You will become, during the duration of that time, you will become a character in the world of Nocturne and become enthralled in an adventure story of your own making. As Tokyo Conception is played in the form of a conversation. You should find space to play where you'll be bothering as few people as reasonable. Okay, attitude. Now this is important. Finally, bear in mind the most important thing when it comes to TTRPGs above all else. You're there to have fun. Not only should you have fun, but everyone at the table should be having fun as well. Shed your passiveness, but likewise don't run wild over everyone else either. Seek to bring enjoyment to yourself and all that you're playing with. And this is a requirement for you to have consideration to others and pay attention, and to have at least a modicum of manners. Approach the game with this attitude in mind, and you should find no barrier to your enjoyment. You know, very pleasant. Very, very pleasant way to talk about that. Okay. Meat and potatoes time. This is going to be the tricky one. So, this is the explanation of the world of Nocturne. We're going to have a lot to talk about here, because Nocturne is a very interesting and complex type of story. Okay, so let's start. Nocturne. Before we delve into the particulars of the game, let us first turn to a brief review of its history. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, or Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, was, when it was released in 2003, the latest in Atlus's popular Shin Megami Tensei series, which had not seen a release for 8 years. It received such acclaim that in February 2004, it was re-released with the new Maniacs version, which not only added a great deal of new story content, but also was in collaboration with Devil May Cry series. Hence, we will refer to these as the original game and the Maniacs edition. It's kind of funny that we actually got a little bit of the history here. So yeah, it's funny. So fun fact, the reason why this kind of happened, so I think it was in February 2004, that was when Devil May Cry 2 came out. And the main reason why it did a collab with Devil May Cry, well, obviously, come on, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil May Cry, it kind of just fits the bill. But the main reason why is because Kaneko, who is the artist of all of the demons for SMT, did a collaboration with Capcom, where in Devil May Cry 3, which came out, I want to say like a year or two later, he actually did the art and created the Devil Trigger forms for that game. So, in turn, they said, fuck it, put Dante in the game, bro. And that's why Dante is in SMT 3. I know, it's very funny, but yes, Dante is technically canon to Shin Megami Tensei. Hell, even I think in SMT, or not SMT, like Devil May Cry 5, they make a reference to it. It's like, cause they use Nocturne as the excuse to how Dante gets out of hell at the end of, what's it called? At the end of, like, DMC2. Like, DMC2 was like the brick wall for them. They got Dante out of Devil May Cry 2 because of that. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Also, let me make myself a little bit bigger there. There we go. Okay, so Nocturne was set in the Vortex world, a place created, on the inside of a spear, which came to be as the old world was wiped away in the conception. The Ring of Gaia's plan for renewing the world. Okay, so this is interesting because this does a good job of fleshing out some of the details at the start of the game. Okay, so they do kind of flesh out these details in Nocturne itself a little bit, but we don't get it necessarily as much as we do here. I'm sure there's some supplementary material that does build upon it, but the state of the world, the cult, and then all these other things, there's not too much really known before we get into it. Because once the game starts, I want to say you've got maybe 15 minutes before the world explodes, and then it turns into Demon Apocalypse. So it's kind of interesting seeing them flesh out a lot of these details a little bit more. where I'm sure you learn a little bit more about it throughout the game, and I'm pretty sure that's how it was, and kind of remember loosely on it, but you kind of get the point of getting it here. Okay. The Ring of Gaia was the cult that believed in the teachings and the scriptures of Mirako, and from their ritual, the world was destroyed entirely, save for small parts of the city of Tokyo, which remained as the egg of the new world. Said proportions of Tokyo were often rolled into a spear, at the end of which shined the ardent light of Kagatsuchi. Among the ruins of the world of the human world, demons, creatures found previously only in myths and legends of the old world, were born, who then proceeded to divide into factions and went to war to determine the shape of the new world yet to be born from the egg. Okay, so interesting. If anyone remembers back when Kyle and I played SMT 4 Apocalypse, it's interesting because what we're looking at here is essentially a war that's taking place within the cosmic egg. What is a cosmic egg? Look, bro, we're going down the rabbit hole here. It's basically when the world ends, it returns to an egg, and from the egg, a new world shall be born. Basically, one dies, another one thrives, and that's kind of what's going on here. The question is, what shape will this new world take? And that is sort of what reasons are, and a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff to get into, and I'm sure the book will point it out, but keep that in mind going forward. There's a lot of jargon, a lot of big words, and I'm hoping the book will break it down, because if not, I'm going to have to break it down, and that can be kind of a pain in the ass. I'm going to be real with you, because it's a lot of, how do I say it? SMT is a setting that typically revolves around a lot of like occultism, folklore, a variety of different things. It's like if you know a little bit about like Abram's religions, like Christianity, I think it's like Judaism, a lot of like Buddhism and other things like that. It revolves around a lot of those concepts and ideas, like things like cycles of rebirth and, just other things like that. So usually it's basically what's the funniest way I could say? It's like, I want to say almost like a fanfic involving a lot of these different like historical figures versus like, mythological figures. So just keep it in mind like that. And the best excuse I could tell you, and how come, there are multiple copies of deities running around. You want to know the answer? Well, it's the Vortex world. It's connected to the Makai, which is the demon world, also known as Hell. And sure, why not? There can be a multiverse of demons out there. There you go. That's my excuse. I know, rambling. Get back to reading. Anyways, Hikawa, the leader of the Ring of Gaia, established the Assembly of Nihilo and quickly gained dominance over the Vortex world, but he was not opposed, for the Mantra army of Ikebukuro rose up to stand against him. Interesting. The protagonist of the game story was a normal high school student, yet thanks to his homeroom teacher, Takao Yuko, who was also the priestess of the Ring of Gaia, he by chance lived to see the destruction of the world, became a fiend when made to ingest Amagatama, the essence of demonic power, and then became embroiled in the apocalyptic battle to decide what the new world would be. Okay, well that's an interesting way to phrase all that. Let's get into Twisted World. Okay, so we got basically the gist of Nocturne's story, and Nocturne's story, again, kind of an interesting one. I do like that this sort of built up a little bit more on the little details before Nocturne, and did talk about a little bit of the important stuff going into it. But let's talk about the setting. So, Twisted World. The Vortex world is a world unlike our own. While the shattered remnants of Tokyo's metropolis can be found here and there, nearly all the rest of the world is desert. At times, that desert will have been consumed by the seas of nothingness, a strange, newly created precipice will have cleaved the land into fragments. Oh, I didn't even know that's what that was called. Interesting. Because you see it so much in the in-game, where like there's a lot of the what's the word I'm looking for? It looks like like a black sea. I didn't know it actually had a name. Interesting. Let's see. Had you glimpsed the world as it was even in hours before its destruction, you may in comparison view this new world as the same, but for hundreds of years having passed. Perhaps that time has indeed passed, or perhaps it has not. There is no way to mark the passage of time, but by the wax and wane of Kagatsuchi's light. Okay, now more of the meat and potatoes here. The people and the power players. Okay. Demons. The primary residents of the Vortex world are demons. Demons being the term used for a whole host of creatures, those being ghosts, goblins, archdemons, angels, fallen and whatnot, spirits, divinities, monsters, fairies, and other terrors of the night. Once lived only in legend, but with the birth of the Vortex world, they too were born. For during the conception, humans were wiped out, with survivors being few and far between. Yet, you will find that electricity and water still flow through the ruins, this is being as a result of the artificial humans known as monarchins, slaving to maintain the infrastructure of the Vortex world. Let's see, the Kagatsuchi. This silver light at the center of the world, the Kagatsuchi. The Kagatsuchi's light shines steadily, yet comes into its moons when the strongest says it's full, and its weakest says when it's new. The wax and wane of the light have a profound influence over demons' behaviors. Moreover, the light is said to be equivalent to that of a single day back in humanity's era. But in truth, there's no way to be certain how much time passes between phases. Interesting. Okay, so you can kind of use that to your advantage when you're writing the campaign here, because I know for a fact, yes, they are correct. It does affect demons, and if we're talking about like gameplay wise, like video game wise, yes, that does influence it. Now for the tabletop, from what I remember, it does influence it. There are some things that have been changed, and well, we'll get to that because, you know, of course we're gonna get to that. Let's see. Let me see what's next on this playlist. Oh yeah, we're just going down. Ooh, we're leaving that track. Okay. Let's see. Many residents of the Vortex world neither sleep nor rest, but when they tire or are hurt, they find restoration in rejuvenating waters from a fountain of life. Interesting. So, you know, that's kind of interesting. I never really thought about that. Yeah, in the Vortex world, no one seems to rest, really. So that's interesting. All right. Let's see. Magatsuhi. Magatsuhi is the energy of life. It is mana. It is said that through the collection of Magatsuhi, a demon may gain incredible powers such as both the Assembly of Nihilo, and the Mantra Army attempt to gather as much Magatsuhi as they are able to. See, throughout the spherical earth that encompasses the Vortex world, runs on the Amala network. Though, which is like the veins in the world, flow vast quantities of Magatsuhi. The Amala network can only be entered via terminals. Deep, deep within the Amala network lies a dark world known as the Labyrinth of Amala, and it is said to be a place of congression for the most wicked of demons. Interesting. Okay, so I guess that's a setup that if we did want to incorporate the Labyrinth of Amala, we could. Which is interesting because I guess like the book said at the start in the foreword, it is kind of, I think it's based on the Maniacs version of the game, so that makes sense to me. Okay. Okay, now it looks like, what is this? Are we just talking about reasons? No, I guess we are just talking about reasons. Okay. All right, reasons of Genesis. The Nihilo and Shijima. See, the Vortex world is not one of permanence, but it is an egg, a world created to give shape to the new world. It is nothing more than a staging ground for one to control the flow of Magatsuhi, and with it, summon a patron god that will birth the new world. As the one who brought the conception to fruition, Hikawa, leader of the Ring of Gaia, has established his assembly of Nihilo within the Shiodome, and has begun collecting Magatsuhi en masse. His goal is to create a world of beautiful silence, held underneath perfect order. Such is the reason named Shijima. Should his reason be achieved, then the world will no longer experience any change of any kind. So it's basically the world of stillness. Okay. Okay. We have the Mantra Army, Ooh, banger alert. Hold up, this song's fire. Let's see. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Okay, gathering a new Kipukuro to stand against the Assembly of Nihilo is the Mantra Army led by Ngozu Tenno. Mantra place their faith in strength alone and seek to lead seek a world led by the truly strong. Although originally they had no word to call their reason, of late they have been given a new leader, a human girl, gained a name, Yosuga. Should the reason of Yosuga be realized, the world will become one of survival of the fittest, where those with strength rule. In such a world, the losers are oppressed, and the winners stand dominant over all. Okay. Remember, stay hydrated, people. Okay, lurkers in Amala. Isolation in Musubi. The souls that dwell in the Amala network are giving rise to their own reason. Musubi, which strives for a world of complete isolation. For those who follow this reason, despise connection with others and seek only solace that exists within oneself. This reason preaches self-reliance to the point of reforming one's own sense of self, or one's own sense of being, able to rely on others, ultimately leading to the denial of communication with all others and eschewing of society, social groups, family, and even love. When Musubi becomes reality, all individuals will be secluded in their own individual regions and eternally subsumed in isolation. It will be a world without salvation. It's very lonely. Okay. And then, creation of a new world. Only those with the reason, ideals that can be formed in the foundation of Genesis, may attempt the act of creation that will birth a new world. At present, only 3 reasons are known, but surely there are others seeking their own reason to change the world. In Tokyo Conception, the PCs may initially have difficulty simply surviving, but before long, they may too gain their own reason and become immersed in creation. Now, I think that could be really cool. Obviously, giving the players a chance to make their own bit, I think would be awesome. So, let's see what we got. Okay. Alrighty. Kagatsuchi and Reason. It is said that any faction who wishes to enact their own reason must first reach the Kagatsuchi. This means doing so, however, were only recorded within the scriptures of Moroku. One theory suggests that one must utilize the massive amount of Kagatsuchi accumulated within the Yahiro no Himuragi to summon a powerful god from beyond our world, and then draw forth a tower from Kagatsuchi itself. So basically, summoning the final dungeon, because that's basically what happened in Nocturne. We went through the whole roundabout, we did that, the Kagatsuchi shot down a tower that reaches all the way up towards its light, and then whoever gets to the top claims that light. Okay. The Assembly of Nihilo has sent its demons out to hunt down the sources of Magatsuhi, and as that continues, it's invested everything it has into constructing the obelisk to reach Kagatsuhi on its own. Right. Okay. Magatama and Fiends. Okay. Among all this, did the demi-fiend appear in the Vortex world? He was a being neither human nor demon. He was a fiend, once human, then made demon by his Magatama. Magatamas are insects filled with mana. With one, a human can become demonic. We'll call these fiends. Creatures neither human nor demon, but something different entirely. They're so rare, in fact, that few in the Vortex world even know what they are, let alone where they originate from, or how many different types exist. It is said that there are 24 types of Magatama in total, scattered across the entirety of the Vortex world. It is said that by gathering them all and bringing them to a certain place, one can obtain a Magatama of legendary power. Yeah, so the Masakata. One thing that is known for certain, however, is that once you become a fiend by ingesting Magatama, you may never again return to being a human. And so the story begins. With the first appearance of the fiends, the world once again begins to stir. Will you form your own reason and steer the new world to be as you see it? Such is when the battle begins. Okay, spin the tale. Here we conclude our review. Turn the page and you'll find an introductory replay of transcript of an actual session of Tokyo Conception. You can get a better idea of how the game plays, and then you can begin reading the rules. Should you be experienced with TTRPGs, feel free to just jump to page 22 and talk about making a character. And if you want to just jump right into the action, you can read the rules the rules summary on 297, pick a character from the samples, and get playing. However, if you're new, don't get overwhelmed by everything. Take the book slowly, little by little, and focus on your efforts. You'll get there. Aww. You didn't, that's kind of nice. You didn't have to say it like that. That's very sweet of you. Let's jump to a different track. There we go. Okay, so this is, I think a transcript of the session that they did on stream. Like, I think you could go to the YouTube channel and like watch them actually play the sound. So this is interesting. Yeah, here's a replay that shows you how the game actually plays. We have our different characters, A, B, C, and D, and then you have the GM. Let's see. Being at the bottom of the ocean, the underground waterway may be carnivorous, but with the ceiling over 10 meters high, such is necessary for the giant wingspan of the Manta Ray culture creature that swims here. That would be Fornius. If we don't get that guy out, there's no way we'll ever see the light again. But what else is there to do but fight? So it's funny, I do like that they ended up doing that again. Like they used the Fornius scenario, because the first dungeon is Fornius. Let's see. I'm curious, actually. Character creation. I'm very curious to see how they did this. Let's see. Thanks for having us. We're not making our own. No, most TTRPGs, it's typical for you to make their own thing, but for this sake, they were using like pre-gen characters. Let's see. Got humans, fiends, and demons. Humans are just like us, but there's something of an endangered species in the Vortex world. Yep, Nocturne itself started with the destruction of the world. Yeah, so that's kind of the interesting thing too. Humans, they don't really exist in Nocturne. Well, okay, that's a lie. They do exist, but you know what I mean? Most of the game, it's just demons and you. And you're a fiend. You're not human anymore. You look kind of like one, but you're not a human. I mean, there are your friends, but they're very quickly no longer demon. Or no longer human. So it's like, I guess like the only human characters that would be left would be, I guess your teacher? Like your teacher and, oh my goodness, what's his name? Hiragi? Or not, is it Hiragi? No, Hijiri. That's his name, the news reporter. Interesting. Let's see, I'm kind of curious. Okay, so one person ends up playing as a fiend, one is a human, one is a Jack Frost, and then one is a pixie. Relatively standard party formation. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm kind of curious how that's going to go with my party, because my party of players is planning on... Oh, excuse me. They're planning on playing... I think it's like one person definitely wants to be a human, one person definitely wants to be a demon, and then I think it may be a couple of fiends within the pack. I think that'll be very interesting to sort of see how that's going to work out. Because for the one shot that I'm writing up, I decided to sort of do a scenario where they're going to start before the conception, have their meeting and greeting, and sort of get going from there. Then we're going to sort of work out ahead of time, what do you plan on doing? Do you want to be a demon? Do you want to be a fiend? Or do you want to be, something else? A demon, a fiend, or stay human. And I think that's sort of how we're going to do it. And when I write my own little scenario, I've been working on that. But the idea is we're going to have them start. We're going to do a bit of the introductory of Nocturne, and then we're going to sort of have them arrive at the medical center and go from there. At least that's what I'm planning. Okay, so let's skip ahead a little bit here. Because, yep, this is them talking about... Oh my god, he named himself Mr. Hee-Ho. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, so let's jump around. This is them talking about turn order. Okay, yeah, this is very strange because we're gonna have to talk about combat because I see things like my TN of 59%, you know, shit like that. Okay, so it's like they have their to hit rolls, and then I guess TN is like their challenge rating for damage. My total power is 29, my roll is 6, so my damage is 35. Okay, yeah. Kind of curious to see how we're gonna get into this. I think we'll get more into it once we look more specifically at rules, because I don't know. Like, there's a lot of jargon. Oh, okay, so here we do, speaking of jargon, we do have some terminology. Really, we got the definition for dice. A polyhedral random number generator. For this game, each participant should have each dice. Yeah, thanks, amazing, fantastic. Let's see, okay. Level, party level, character level, these are things we're used to. Okay, a fiend, a human who becomes a demon thanks to a magatama. A demon, or it's a demi-fiend also falls under this type. Let's see. Demon and the Shin Megami Tensei series. Demon is a shorthand for all manner of creatures who appear in legends, myths, including gods, yokai, archfiends, angels, and even spirits. Yep, that's honestly one of the most solid definitions of it you can give. Okay. Subclasses, like subcategory for character creation. Humans have their own subclasses. Okay. Anything more specific to the setting? Stats. Strength, magic, vitality, agility, and luck. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more of these things. Okay. Checks. During the game, when you often are not sure whether an action would be successful, you can do rolling a check. Okay, so you can do that in this system as well. Okay. Good to know. All right, magical physical damage. Power, a word that influences... Explode. A rule wherein upon rolling a certain number on the dice, you roll again, then add numbers together. It only occurs on power rolls. Interesting. Okay. Elements, the categorization of attacks are the following: physical, fire, ice, electric, mind, force, ruin, nerve, dark, light, and almighty. Okay. I mean, you can do elemental affinities for things like in a regular TTRPG campaign. I mean, it gets kind of anal, but that's kind of the name of the game when it comes to Megaten, because, well, you know, that's really how it's going to be. Okay, character sheet terms. Let's see, yep, character class. Okay, stats, let's see. Strength is used for hit checks and physical attacks. Magic represents magical capabilities. Let's see, used for the cast check of spells and also the calculation of MP. Vitality calculates HP, recover from elements, so it's called saves. Yep. All right, so we still have saves here. Let's see, represents speed and nimbleness, used for when rolling initiative as well as when dodging attacks. Luck, used for any check that doesn't involve any of the above and includes talking to demons and noticing things. Determines your fate points. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna have fate points like we're playing Warhammer now. Interesting decision, but okay. Kind of curious, but I guess we'll see where we go with that. Where are we at in this playlist? What is this track? And let's switch next track. Oh hell yeah, classic banger. Okay, TN. Okay, so TN is target number, the number that determines how likely a check is to succeed. Okay. I guess that's one way to do it. I mean, wouldn't that just be DC? Yeah. I guess that's... Yeah, no, okay, hold on, wait a minute. So target number determines how likely a check is to succeed. The physical attack power, yep, you add that. Okay, so that's basically your BAB. Oh, there's BAB for magic. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, save TN. Value used when saving from elements equal to your vitality TN. Okay, so that save is using your vitality check. Dodging. Value used when checking to avoid an attack. Your agility plus 10. Got it. Negotiation TN. Let's see, value used to negotiate or otherwise persuading demons. Multiply your luck TN by 2, then add 20. Interesting. Oh my god, I just is someone gonna go the full luck build? Is this finally gonna happen? Is the meme gonna be real? Okay. HP, shorthand for hit points, the representation of life itself. When you hit 0, you die. Yep. Sounds about right. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Wow. Hey, it's a grr. All right. This is going to be interesting because we're going to need to look at some of these. All right. Physical resistances, defense value against physical elements, reduce phys damage. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so you have touch AC and natural AC, or well, your overall AC. So in this case, it's like MR, yeah, magic resist and physical resistance are separated. Okay. Fate points represents your ability number of fate points. Fate points are spendable and can be used to support a heroic action or help you manage taking damage. You have your full amount when you begin a new game. Yeah, so at the start of every session, everyone gets fate points back. Okay, affinities. Represents your affinity for or against certain elements. Basic strike, bodily strike that is made without using skills. Fair enough. Skill. A character will be able to learn up to 8 skills maximum. Explanations for each skill can be found in the skill explanation page on page 94. Held Maka. Yup, that's cash money, baby. Maka is the currency of demons used throughout the Vortex world. Background. A quality that depicts a PC's past or their motivation for their character. Let's see. PC's goal, usually derived from their background. PC's bond, bonded with another PC character. And a contact, a resident of the Vortex world that the PC can use as a source of info. Normally, PCs start with 2 of these. Okay. All right. Now the fun part, because this is where things are going to get kind of tricky. Character creation. Okay, so there is the quick start. We're going to look at that too. Interesting, very interesting. In this chapter, you will learn how to create the character you will use for the Tokyo Conception game. There are 2 methods to create a character. Quick start, wherein players will select their from their pre-made samples, or full scratch, in which one creates a fully unique character from scratch. The GM decides what method would be most suitable for their game. You know, I think in my game, if the players want to use a template, I will allow it. But I would definitely recommend they sort of make their own, because I think that's part of the process. Like, it helps us all learn together how to run the system. And I'll be honest, it's going to be really tricky because me reading through this is more or less me double checking my homework here to make sure I understand the system, because ideally, you would want to understand the system you're running. And if not, you have to like double check, go back through the book over and over, and it can be kind of a pain in the ass, as you can imagine, because for a game like this, there's not really any online sources like Pathfinder, SRD, or like any of these like 5e tools. You kind of just have to like use the book and then interpret it the best you can. So go figure. Oh, you know what? We're gonna switch up music here. Hold on. Let's go and listen to the soundtrack. Oh, we're gonna get ominous music here. Oh yeah. I love me some SMT5 soundtrack. Definitely gonna use these tracks in when I run this campaign. That's for sure. Okay. Player characters. In game terms, any character that is created or is played by the player is called a PC. After the conception, whether they wanted to or not, the PCs were forced into a new life of survival in a new twisted land called the Vortex World. For the sake of that survival, they do not act alone, but rather have gathered into their own independent faction, the Party. That's a fun way to say that. I like that. The Vortex World is no more than an egg, a temporary creation brought about to determine the reason of the new world. So, it is here where the battle is fought to see which reason shall emerge victorious, and its assembly of Nihilo it is the assembly of Nihilo who is winning that fight. Low-level PCs are to the Vortex world nothing more than a group of fiends, demons, and humans, which none would regard as important. Regardless, it is the fate of the PCs to plunge into the whirlpool of events and battle that gives the Vortex world its name. Okay, recommended level. Much like in the original game, Tokyo Conception can handle levels from 1 to 100. Holy shit. 1 to 100? Alright. However, characters for actual play should be created to suit the recommendations of a level set by the GM. Said level is determined via experience points granted. For example, when using a sample character from the quick start, each of those is created with 1100 EXP, which means fiends are at least level 10, demons are at level 9, and humans are at level 11. Okay, so I see how this works. So instead of just setting a start level for the party, I want to use a certain amount of EXP because that's what's going to sort of benchmark for the whole party. Okay, that's important to note. We recommend that you set characters no lower than level 5 and no higher than 70 as it provides the most stable play experience. Yeah, I'd imagine at higher levels it can get kind of rough. Okay, quick start. An abbreviated method of creating a character that allows you to get right into playing is called Quick Start. All you need to do is select one of the selected characters on page 25, determine 1 or 2 narrative qualities about them, and then you're ready to go. In this fashion, you can even play the introductory scenario on 279 right away. Huh. Let's see. Trailer Zero's GM recommendation. After explaining what the session for the day will be like, the GM declares which sample characters can be used. Okay. Let's see. Choosing sample characters. Players now choose their sample character. Yeah. Set names and personal information. They can freely choose what they want. Name, gender, age. For demons, in a setting, age is necessary. Fair enough. Determine bonds, etc. Let's see. The PCs are in order clockwise from the GM in this example. We have the Fiend, Margaret, Fairy Pixie, Fairy Jack Frost, and the Fiend Ankh. Let's see, Margaret needs to determine their bond to Pixie. Okay, so you could just roll on a 1d10 here. Let's see, you share some strange hobbies with them as collecting old human relics, a buddy, 2 of you have fought in the same battles, you accept one another, a savior, they've saved your life, affection, you feel affection or even love to them, friendship, you feel like you two are friends, favor owed, in the past, they either did you a solid or someone related to them did. Good vibes. Good vibes is one hell of an option. Somehow, you just get along. Faded vision. You keep seeing visions of them in your dream. Rebirth. You feel as though they are reincarnation of someone dear to you. Duty. You feel you must keep them safe. Okay. All right. Do you like that? Oh, okay. So this is the sample character. Okay. Sample character, level 10. Oh, I see they fucked up the wording here. See, Margaret, you were once a normal high school student, but then while you were visiting the Shinjuku Medical Center to check on your homeroom teacher, something happened. It was when a strange blonde-haired boy granted you your Magatama and you became a fiend. You now believe that nothing is as important as finding your teacher, Takao Yuko, your teacher. So basically, if you wanted to be the demi-fiend, I guess this would be one way to go about it. You know, just get yourself your own human and then put on some tribal tattoos and you'll be good. Okay. There is a lot of stuff on this sheet, and I feel confused, and I think we're going to understand it better once we get to making our own character sheet, or at least that section of it. But it'll be interesting. Let's see, SMT3, pen and paper demake, yeah. What's up, Filippo? How you doing? Been having a lot of fun reading through this, because it's funny. So I own this book. Well, not physically yet. It has to, like, get mailed to me or whatever. But, yeah, I've been reading through this because, well, I'm going to run one of these for my friends. And it's always tricky because, you know, when you're running this with your D&D group, they are, D&D is a fantasy setting, sir. You know, just saying. Yes, don't you know that April is a terrible month? Some might say it's very cruel. Okay. I am kind of curious to sort of see. Okay, so this looks like it is a strength-based character. Does it say what Magatama they have? It doesn't look like it. Okay, actually, no, I think it's like the basic physical damage one. Interesting. Let's see. Contacts, your goal, other things. Okay. Cruel angels or whatever, yeah. Oh my god, whoever scanned this just like, it just like bombed, bro. Let's see, show what missing in the aftermath. Let's see, what is this person? They are a fire-based fiend. Yeah, I know. Some of the art on this is kind of crazy. Bro. I know. Let's see. Oh, okay, this one kind of goes hard, though. You are a lady fiend. Amazing. Your strong will and studying of martial arts has left a calling to you. Mm-hmm. It's funny. Strong will, martial arts. What build did they pick? They're the healer. They are the healer of the party. Interesting. Finding a purpose is their goal. Damn, that kind of goes hard. Okay. All right, stat-wise, what do we got here? It does look like they are a strength build. It's funny because like the Magatama did not give the... Yeah, I know. Dude, you're right. They literally showed up to the hospital and they were like, damn, someone left all this cosplay here. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Like, at least they're not wearing the jean skirt, short jacket, whatever the hell her name was wearing. Oh my god, bro. The jeans onesie is crazy. Dude, I need the denim katana, or not the denim katana, the denim kimono as like a character. Oh, man. Oh, brother. Whoa, what's happening? The dot hat cosplay. Oh my god, yo, true. Okay, yeah, this is just basic Pixie. Nice. Sick. I appreciate that the art comes out and covers up the fucking stat box, but that's okay. Out of order. Memory loss. Protect PC. Return home. Oh, bro. Look at the Jack Frost. He's got the little boxing gloves. Hell yeah, dude. Demon, fairy. He idolizes the deity Thor and one day strives to become a strong demon like him. Damn. Hell yeah, dude. Become powerful hero. Let's see, a hellhound, you know, in case if you wanted to get your Kerberos cosplay in. Let's see, once the party reaches level 13, you evolve into an Inagami. They've been making TTRPGs since SMT. Yeah, so, okay, it's funny that you bring that up because I was reading the introduction of the book earlier, and it mentions that, yes, they've been making this since the 90s. Like, and it's been going through, and all I can say is, this is the first one that got translated over in English. Dude, I want the other ones. Because this is a really cool book so far. I like that it's good. But I want the ones for like SMT 1 and 2, dude. Dude, hook a brother up. Yo, can they translate those too? I mean, I'll buy those as well. Because I do like the effort here. I think this is really interesting because, look, I know it's niche. It's extremely niche. But look, if Metaphor did good enough, can they make a Metaphor book? Like, Metaphor was amazing. Look, just... make a Metaphor one. Make more TTRPG books. I'll buy them. I'm a big fan of this stuff. And I think that, you know, being able to play these out in a tabletop setting is really cool when you make a really cool setting. You know, it's a lot easier than hijacking some other setting, but don't worry about that. Or hijacking another system. I mean, look, there is a reason why when we did our Final Fantasy campaign, we used Final Fantasy D20. Why? Because it's Pathfinder. Well, Pathfinder 1. It's a system we know, and just people made their own stuff for it, you know? Well, good to know. Let's keep on going. Bro, soldier. Oh, man. They should make one for Catherine, and it's just Among Us for cheaters. Ooh. I feel like you could find that board game in, like, any, like, Hobby Lobby or thrift store or whatever. I feel like that exists already, Philip. Oh, man. Okay. No, so I think one of the more interesting things is, again, you can just play as a human character and stay human. That's got to be, like, hella hard now that I'm thinking about it, because if you put it into perspective, like, if we look at the stat block here, like, he's got pretty weak stats, okay? And then you compare it to, like, a demon that has very high stats. It is kind of interesting. Did I see that there's a multiplayer Death Note game now? Yeah, I saw that. I heard about that. Is that any good? I have heard about it. I haven't seen too much about it. It looked like it could be cool, but it's a little bit silly. But who knows? Maybe that could be like something fun to play with some friends. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so what I'm kind of curious about with this human character sheet, and I do hope that when we... Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay. Yeah, we're going to look through a lot of the stuff here with the human character. You haven't tried it because stuff like Among Us is stressful. Fair enough. My problem is when I play Among Us with my friends, I always get like ousted or they vote me out because they're like, you're so easy to read. I'm like, no, I'm not. Oh, man. Okay, so something kind of interesting that I'm wanting to see more of, and I'm sure when we look at the just play as a chocobo. True. Also, what's up, Micro? Yeah, I think once we get back to or we'll not get back to, I think when we look more at the making our own character sheets as we go further down, I do want to see about how the human characters work, because again, Nocturne is a setting where we don't have human characters, but the more we look at this, it uses more traditional things like you have equipment, like you actually have gear, you have ammo, you play like a regular SMT character that is a human. So I do want to see more about that, because look, man, we just have Strange Journeyman here with us. And it's funny. So yeah, I am planning on trying to run this as a campaign for some of my friends. And I do think it'll be kind of fun because I know I've got Kyle who's going to be joining in on that. And it's funny because he said, he goes, in Nocturne's setting, he wants to play as a human and try to stay human. And I think that's really cool. But at the same time, it made me laugh because he goes, I want to try to be like the one of the sample characters or use that as like a basis. And he wants to be like a JSDF soldier and stuff like that. And so he doesn't have the luscious chest. I know, you're right. But look, he doesn't have the luscious chest, but he's got like the gigantic boots. Dude, look at the boots on this art. It's crazy. Look, man, he's gonna kick a demon in the face. Okay, also something funny that I just remembered. Do you think that there are going to be weapons that are alignment locked? Because remember how, okay, this is old head SMT garbage here. You remember how in SMT 1 and 2, shotguns were locked behind being lawful aligned? Like your AoE gun attack is locked behind alignment. Oh man, if not, I'm sure you could find a way. Because I guess like, okay, so that is also the other interesting thing. Since this is a Mega 10, I hope the Lilim steals your, oh dude. Look, I'm sure you can do a lot of fun stuff. Like I've got some ideas. I'm curious to see what is in this, and we're gonna look a little bit more in a sec. But you know, I would be down to like add in some more of these old game ideas just because it's fun. Like the other thing to note, this is SMT, so alignment I feel should be a bigger factor in the way you play about this, because typically like when you play a tabletop RPG, like when you play D&D with your friends, alignment doesn't necessarily matter as much, but in this setting and world, it matters a lot. That's just how Mega 10 rolls, you know what I mean? So I feel like it should be an important part in what we work on when we create a story. So I do have one that I was working on because, again, like I mentioned, this is something I've been working on doing a one-shot of. But now that I finally have a version of the book without my name or someone's name being blasted across the corner of the screen, hey, we can take a look at this book and have some fun. Because there is a lot of very interesting stuff. Like, yeah, the fact that we have 2 different human builds here. You have the soldier, which is, well, typically what you'd expect. But we also have a reporter. Let's see. You're the reporter while working on a now defunct occult magazine. You wrote about the Ring of Gaia, and after the conception, you endured this vastly changed world to uncover its secrets. You formed a connection with the Dekarabia, the boss of Shibuya, to keep tabs on the movement of the Mantra army in Hikawa. While not strong in a fight, you can support the team with accurate advice, aid, and use items. Interesting. All right. Okay. Let's see. This character's best tactic during combat is to aid basic action. Make a luck check. On succeed, the character gains plus 20 TN to their next action and can stack. Okay. So they're basically interesting. Okay, so there's someone who's literally a support character. Interesting. I think, okay, so if we're talking like TTRPG stuff-wise, I think this will be very interesting because it does break away from the norm of typically in a lot of TTRPGs, you just have everyone building around damage or like some magic form of damage, maybe some crowd control. It's interesting because there is crowd control, but it's not as like, you know, reflex save heavy stuff like that. And this is just a build that is just pure like support. That's interesting. Then, you know, there's a lot more things like that. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. All right, here is the fun part. Full scratch, original character creation. Let me just like change track because this is like hard on the ears a little bit. Ooh, another good banger. Okay. Let's see. All right. Steps to create a character. To create your own unique character, follow the steps outlined below. For ease of calculations or transcribing your stats, you should use the character creation sheet found at the end of the book. Take care to use the correct sheet as they differ for each class. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Trailer. The GM's recommendations. And then decide class, select additional skills, background, select contacts, determine your goal, set name and personal information, determine bonds with other player characters. Okay. GM's recommendations. Let's see. First, the GM describes what the session will be like, then tells the so this is basically session 0. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't call it that, but okay. It's basically session 0. First, the GM describes what the day's session will be like, then tell the players the level, the subclasses, classes, background, etc. that they should use. Should the GM wish that the characters be created with closer ties to the scenario, then it may be ideal to create character handouts to give to each of those players. Also, the GM may make changes for specific characters, like adjusting levels, restricting classes, if they feel appropriate for the story. The character handout is a given note. The players briefly explain their role in the story. This note may be a brief or detailed, depending on whatever works best. However, more complex handout is, the fewer options the player will have for making a character. So be careful not to go overboard. Okay. For example, handout describe the PC character's context. Fiend Margaret, you're searching for your kidnapped lover. Handout describes a unique trailer for each player character. Okay. So, decide your class. Decide between a fiend, a demon, or a human. Each class has a different way to set starting stats and skills that you begin with. See individual class pages for more information, and we're probably going to look at that after. Let's see. Additional skills. After determining your stats from your starter skills on the page, you will gain extra skills as well. See page 34 and page 49 for more information. Okay. Selecting your background. Now determine your player character's history by looking over the backgrounds table. On page 37, select 2 different backgrounds for your character by either choosing them randomly from the table or choosing them directly from the table or rolling randomly. If you roll a result that isn't to your liking, you may re-roll. Select contacts. Each player character has contacts among the influential NPCs found within the Vortex world. During the game, these may be utilized in order to gather info. Contacts may have automatically been provided via the background, but each PC should have 2, so you may determine which one from the contact table you may use. Determine. Let's see, determine a goal. Next, you will determine an individual goal for your player character derived from your background. Each PC may decide what their goal is freely, but the GM may offer guidance or suggest after the trailer for the scenario is announced. Okay. So, very helpful. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Set your name. Yep. Your character details. Yep. Class. The most important choice. Player characters will be one of the fiends, demons, or human. Let's see. Players will be one fiend, demon, or human, and each has its own separate way of constructing character sheets. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Fiends choose a Magatama, in which they will choose their set. Let's see. They will choose. Let's see. They choose their set. Their starter skills for level 1 stats. Fiends cannot hold on to gear, nor can they improve armor or weapons. Okay, so fiends don't wear weapons. Fiends don't wear armor. Got it. Demons choose a demon to embody that has a level equal to or lower than the session's recommended level. Then do battle. Let's see. Then level up until they reach the recommended level. Interesting. Okay. So you could pick a base demon to work with, and then from there you could choose to either upgrade it. I'm sure, like, if the player wants to stay being that type of demon, we can make up some sort of compromise where they get just a big bump in their stats or something regardless to sort of compensate. So that'll be interesting. I guess we'll sort of see what happens there. Okay. Also, damn banger alert. Hell yeah, dude. Let me just lower that just a little bit. Okay. And let's see. And humans. Humans choose a subclass which is loosely based on several real-life professions. This choice provides them with their stats and level 1 starter kits. Okay. And trust me, as we look into the classes, I'm sure we're going to get a lot more about these, because I am kind of curious to see how different it is. The major draw that I know is that each of the different classes do have significantly different playstyles, and also things like different EXP growth, because I think that's what we saw before too when we were looking. It mentioned that the EXP growth was different in how you level up, where I think it mentioned like what fiends are usually going to be like the median for EXP. Demons have the slowest EXP growth, and then humans have the fastest. So these are like just things we have to consider as we like look forward. Okay. Leveling prior to the game. Let's see. The game can handle player characters from 1 to 100, while you can begin play easily at level 1 to give players more range and flexibility in actions and conventions or one-shots. You will be able to find it preferable to let player characters advance to either level 10 or level 20s or level 20 first. GMs should set the player levels to match the tone of the type of game they desire, then have the player characters leveling up. Okay, got it. Interesting. So typically, okay, so this is kind of tricky, because usually in a TTRPG game, you don't want to do level ups in the middle of a session. But this would be a case where I guess if it's not super complicated, we'd probably want to allow it, because, I mean, the level cap is 100, and then, it's going to take a while to get levels, so... I feel like that would be fine, I guess. I think I would be alright with that. At least that's how I see it. Okay. Increasing your stats. For each level above the first, player characters gain 1 point to increase their stats. Fiends and humans apply this stat point to any stat that they want, or any stat that they prefer. Demons, however, apply the stat point randomly, roll 1d10 and consult the table below, and apply the point accordingly to the results rolled. Okay. favorite stat as determined by the demon embodied, increased stat whichever is preferred, and then just the random stat. Damn, that's fucked up. So I guess that's the price of power. You pay a demon, you end up with Fire Emblem stat growth. I mean, that's definitely different. That's one thing I could say. Like, it could lead to a very strong character or a very weak character, but again, demons, their stat blocks are typically kind of tough, so you know what? I think that's fair game. Just saying. Okay. Let's see. Acquire skills. In addition to the starter skills learned, player characters learn all skills from their class choices as they level up. Okay. See, their class choice up to the level they will be starting at. They also learn one extra skill slot at level 1, 10, 20, and every 10 levels. Beyond that, from the extra skill table below. Okay. Keep in mind that one character can have a maximum of only 8 skills learned at once, and should a character learn another skill in excess of 8, they must select one of their skills to forget. When selecting a skill from the extra skills table, you may either roll a dice to determine it, or you may choose whatever you like. Dude, you've got to be kind of a crazy person to roll instead of pick on that. And it's like, I get it, but I mean, I would rather have the choice, because from what it sounds like, combat can get kind of brutal. And in that case, I'm like if we're doing the Mega 10 min-max meme, it's like, I would rather you get to choose to better optimize your character instead of like pick randomly, get fucked, and then complain to your DM. There you go. That's my take of it. Let's see. Okay. Keep in mind that one character, yep, we're only maximum of that. So you choose whatever you like. Each character can learn new skills whenever they level up. These skills are learned at certain levels, and some are according to class choice. For fiends, this depends on their Magatama. For humans, their subclass, and for demons, which demon they have embodied. Let's see. At level up, a character can choose one new skill to learn from those they're eligible for. They may not choose a skill they have already learned, and even if a fiend has multiple Magatamas ingested, they can still only learn one skill per level up. Okay. Okay, these are the extra skills that you can pick. Got it. Okay. All right, here we go. This is the complicated shit. Oh boy. Yeah, this is the part that everyone's been dreading. The math. The math, and then also fusion. Okay, fusion and evolving. In a campaign, sessions that continue where one left off, if a demon reaches a sufficiently high level, they can benefit from a unique sort of advancement in the form of fusion and can evolve. However, if these systems are allowed prior to the start of the new game, the player may find themselves mired in a rather complex puzzle. As such, fusing or evolving before a new game should generally not be permitted. Okay, got it. However, if the game's recommended level is level 10 or higher, the GM may permit the use of systems with limitations. For example, only allowing evolving or only allowing one single fusion with the player's choice of element or mitama. In the case of the latter, we recommend that you only do this in a game with a recommended level of 20 or higher. Interesting. Okay. Makes sense. You don't want to make it too complicated for someone who's new. Okie dokie. Semi-quick start. When the recommended level for your session is 11 through 20, you may still choose to use a sample character, but level them up as appropriate. If you're doing levels in multiples of 10s higher than the sample character, you can speed up the process by doing the following. For every 10 levels, give +1 to all stats, +3 to your highest stat, then spend the last 2 points as you like. Gain 1 extra skill. This may be learned regardless of your class. Okay. Calculating your stats. After you have all your stats and skills, you will need to calculate the other stats you'll be using in the game. Okay. Using the following formula to determine your base TN for each stat. Your stat times 5 plus your level plus your modifiers. Modifiers towards your TN are usually represented with a % symbol. But for this example, if you see plus 20%, that simply means add 20 to the TN. Okay. This convention, see, this is a convention typical of TTRPGs, so be sure to not actually apply 20% of the TN as the bonus. Got it. This totally isn't going to be complicated. Right. Okay. Derivative TNs. There are two or more. Let's see. There are two more important TNs to calculate beyond your stats. These are your dodge TN and your negotiation. Okay, so these are basically your DCs. Your DC, your AC, and I guess your other stat check for challenges. Yeah, okay, so the stat... Oh, I see, okay. So stat TNs are what you use for stat checking. Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay, dodge TN. This TN is used when you attempt to avoid any sort of attack. Okay, so it's your agility plus 10. Yeah, got it. It is your agility plus 10, and that is your dodge TN. So that's basically your AC. Negotiation TN is used during negotiation or whenever talking to demons and is equal to twice your level up, or let's see, twice your luck stat plus 20. Got it. All right, how do you calculate HP? Oh my god, bro. Ooh, this is going to be fun when I have to help everyone create characters. Okay. HP is short for hit points. They represent your life. When you hit 0, you die. Your HP modifier is determined by your class, with fiends and demons having a 6 and humans having a 4. These may be changed by the life bonus or life gain or life surge passive. Okay, so vitality plus your level times your HP mod. Okay. And that'll give you like your base pool of HP. Let's see. MP looks like it's about the same. Here, what are the modifiers? Let's see. Fiends and demons have a modifier of 3 and humans have a modifier of 2. Got it. Base power. Base power serves as the minimum floor for your power when dealing when dealing damage. Comes in two forms, physical and magic. Physical power is used for your basic strikes and your physical skills, and it is equal to your strength plus your level. Okay, that's pretty basic. You know, I was going to say it's almost like a BAB, but, well, I guess TNs are basically your BAB or expertise. Okay. Your magic is used for your spells and your magical skills, and it's equal to your magic stat plus your level. Okay, sounds good. All right, resistance. Represents the durability of your body. It comes in 2 different forms. Okay, so you have your mind. Okay, so physical is vitality. Magic. Interesting. So magic is also kind of a double-edged sword. So even, I guess, physical characters want a little bit of magic because it provides them with magic resistance to reduce the damage on that. It's pretty good. And fate points. Fate points are a spendable currency you can use to support your character in performing heroic actions or help you manage damage. This number represents your maximum of fate points, and you get these at the start of your session. Most characters have 5 fate points, but you can increase the number of fate points per 5 luck you have. Certain penalties may also reduce your number of points as well. Okay. Starting Maka. This number represents how much money your character possesses at the end of character creation. It's equal to 50 times your player character level. Right. I guess in the situation that I'm working on, it would still be 0 because the players shouldn't have any money considering what I'm working on. My players are going to be starting before the conception, so they just wouldn't have money. They will get money, but not now. I mean, they would have yen, but, well, that's not going to matter once they enter the Makai, basically. Okay. And let's see. Here's what we've got for the reasons for the classes. Okay. Reason for becoming a fiend. This is a table for fiends only. Interesting. Let's see. You were given your Magatama by a blonde-haired boy dressed for a funeral. A member of the Ring of Gaia made you into a fiend as an experiment. Let's see, she gave you the choice to be a fiend. Let's see, you've gained your Magatama as a gift from the King of the Fairies. You heard a voice calling for you, and you found your Magatama from following it. You were given your Magatama by the leader of the Mantra Army, Gozu Tenno. While finding leads on the Ring of Gaia, you found a Magatama and became a fiend. Oh wow, you get Hiriji. Cool. I do like some of these. After the conception, an angel gave you your Magatama. You got your Magatama from the Cathedral Shadows. Chance, you're not really sure. Random chance, probably. Ooh, banger alert, hold up. Okay, human. Reason for being spared. You're a student. You were a student of Takao. Okay. Cultist, you survived the conception as a member of the Ring of Gaia. A maiden. You were a maiden trained for the conception. Favor, let's see, fairy's favor. You met a fairy before the conception and escaped with your life. A mission. You were investigating the conception as an agent of the state. An old man, let's see, old woman and a boy. You were guided by two strange people. Fixing leads. While finding dirt on the Ring of Gaia, you survived the end of the world. Rebirth. After the conception, an angel brought you back to life. Sorcerer. You were studying magic and this helped you survive the conception. Chance. You're not sure. Random chance, probably. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Reason to act. No class restrictions. Let's see. Revenge. You've sworn vengeance to someone. Let's see. Lost memory. You've lost some of your memories and you want them back. Disorder. Some part of you is broken and you won't live long unless you fix it. You want to return home and live with your family, friends, relatives, or lovers. Again. Interest. Something interests you so much that you feel a pull towards it. Desire. You desire something and you'll do anything to get it. Alone. All of your friends are gone and you need to find a new place to belong. You're searching. You're searching for someone you once knew. Grief. Your grief for the world. So you grieve for a world you lost and now want to make a new world of your own. See. You've been playing Venom's theme from Guilty Gear. I have to take a listen to that one. I actually haven't heard it yet. I've been kind of missing out, I'm not gonna lie. So I'll probably need to take a look a little bit. Let's see, who do we got here? Let's see. Absence, you don't feel like you belong in this world and you seek a place of mind. Okay, extra contact table. Okay. Fornius, the ruler of Shinjuku, he was summoned as the guardian of Shinjuku Medical Center. Dekarabia, ruler of the free kingdom or the free city of Shibuya, he plans to rule the world with his best friend Fornius. Loki, a big shot on the free city of Ginza. He maintains a collection of old human relics. Thor, a powerful figure in the Mantra army, overseer of the duels. Interesting. Lady of the Fount, the holy woman who guards the fountain of life. Mr. Hiho, a Jack Frost who's on a journey to become the greatest or the strongest demon, Ho. Warden Jack-o'-lantern, an underling of the Mantra army. Okay. Algo, a notable, let's see, notable of Ginza, follows the precipice of the Nihilo Assembly, an elite pixie, a messenger for Yoyogi, a fortress for the fairies, basically a high-level pixie that's been infused with the Mitama. Fair enough. And the junk collector, a mannequin with a strange hobby. He collects human relics. All right. Now we finally made it to our first class. We have the Fiend. You know, in case you wanted to be the Demi-Fiend from, well, obviously Nocturne, you can be the Fiend. But let me just take a quick second here. Let me stretch. And gotta say, ooh, that was a big stretch. And say thank you again to anyone who's still hanging out here with us. I'm having a good time looking through this. I know this is, again, well, it's tabletop stuff, but definitely not exactly for everyone, I guess you could say. But I am a good fan of this stuff, and definitely wanted to learn this because I'm totally gonna run one of these, that's for sure. So hey, the more you know. Let me just double check this. Okay, cool. Okay, let me drink some water and let's get started on reading The Fiend. Okay. Gotta shake myself out a little bit. Okay, The Fiend. A fiend is different from a demon. They were once humans, but after receiving a Magatama, they were changed and granted the power of demons. Sadly, once a Magatama is ingested, the fiend's transformation is complete, and they are forevermore changed with no way to return to being a human once again. Fiends can use items, however, they cannot wear armor or weapons. Note that stats have a maximum of 40. No matter what kind of modifiers you receive from your Magatama, you can never exceed this maximum. Interesting. I mean, I guess that is a way to prevent like the overcapping of stats, because like in regular Mega 10, stats go up to 99, and then in later games it just go even higher. So I guess that would be the fairest way to sort of cap it off, especially for a tabletop game, because the power creep would be so fucked up. The power creep would be real fucking bad, you know what I mean? So I think that's fair. Okay, well, let's see what we got. It looks like our starting stats are just 2 across the board. You get 1 Magatama from the starter list, and that's over there on the right. Let's see, HP multiplier is 6, less MP. Okay, class starting skills. Fiends gain their starting skills from their starter Magatama they pick. Specifically, the skill it grants at level 1. Additionally, fiends gain 1 talk skill of their choice. Scout is recommended. Scout. Begin negotiation with 1 enemy demon. When used to gather info, gain 1 demon's info. Okay. Let's see. Fiends are created by ingesting Magatama you select from... English. My bad. Redo. Fiends are created by ingesting a Magatama. You select which Magatama you start with from among the 8 starter Magatamas. Fiends can have up to 3 Magatama ingested at once, but you may only receive benefit or the bonuses from 1 of them at a time. Switching Magatama. You have ingested Magatama can be done at any time while out of combat, but while in combat, you cannot switch at all. You may have the Magatama in your inventory without ingesting them. Doing so can allow you to switch Magatamas as you like between scenes. Okay, fair enough. You know, don't think too hard about... Whoops. My bad. There we go. Don't think too hard about how you get the Magatamas back. I don't know, maybe you cough it up literally. Okay. Let's see. 8 starter Magatamas. These Magatama can be acquired at character creation. If you are creating a character, a fiend of no higher than level 20, you start with only 1. See which ones you pick below. Okay, Margareth. A physical attacking Magatama, the same one that the protagonist in the Nocturne video game starts with. It is a great balance with nothing special to its affinities or weaknesses. Waratsumi. With this Magatama, you can learn ice elemental skills. In the original game, you can only obtain it after defeating the boss of the Shinjuku Medical Center, Fornius, but here, it's a starter one. Its choice grants null ice and weak elect. Let's see, Ankh. This Magatama will teach you recovery skills, granting a substantial bonus to HP. It also lets you act as a vanguard for the party. It grants null light and dark weak. So I guess this is something that I'm going to have to explain because, well, it doesn't quite explain it here. I'm sure in a later section it will, but let's talk about this briefly. So we talked about the different elemental weaknesses and stuff. How it typically works in regular Mega 10 is if you're weak to an element, you basically take double damage from it. It's pretty bad. If you are resistant to it, excuse me, you take half damage. But if you are null, you take no damage, and that turn is wasted. There's other things like drain and reflect, where if you have drain, when you are hit by that element, you drain HP. So whatever damage you would have taken, you convert that into healing. And then there are some that have reflect, where depending on the status ailment or the type, they can reflect it back as damage, whatever they would take. Yeah, it is again kind of video gamey, but you know, that's what it is. Literally, this is a video game TTRPG. So you keep that in mind as we keep on looking forward. Okay, we have Diamante, a Magatama that focuses on debuffing spells. When equipped, it grants you Null Mind, so it's fairly powerful to pick in its own right. Null Mind is pretty good because it basically makes you immune to a lot of the nastier confusion statuses. Shiranu, or would say Shiranu, there we go. With this Magatama, you can learn fire element skills, and it has the highest output power for magic attacks. It's quite a strong pick, and it also grants you null fire and weak to force. IMO, pretty good if you're going to go a caster. Okay. Ifumi, a force element type Magatama, is the next highest attack after Shiranui, or Shiranui. Shiranui. There we go. It grants null force and fire weak. Okay. Now Rukami. This Magatama focuses on electrical attacks with the ability to inflict shock. It's a bit more of a strategic choice, and it grants null elect and you're weak to ice. And Kamudo. With this, you focus more on martial arts skills. You gain new skills slowly, but sticking with it can provide powerful skills such as focus or mind's eye. While it is weak to elements, it is also strong versus physical attacks up front, allowing it to be comparable with Margaret on the front lines. It grants strong physical resistance and it grants strong fizz and ailment weak or ailment attack weak. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Now we have some of the other Magatamas. Now these are the more advanced ones that we've seen in the game. And let's see, these Magatamas can only be acquired after character creation. However, how to acquire them varies. Some demons may drop them once defeated. Some may be purchased from the junk shop, while others may be earned in unique ways. The Anathema, a Magatama that focuses on dark skills while in the Assembly of Nihilos. While the Assembly of Nihilos, Fallen Ose has one, it is inherently tied to the demon world, so it is possible that any powerful Fallen may have it. Okay, grants null dark, weak to light. I wonder if insta-kill spells are still in this, because that would be very, very unfortunate. I'm sure we'll take a look. I wonder if there's going to be like Hala and Mudo. I mean, of course there is, probably, because, well, these are elements here. I wonder if they just converted them to like a damage type element spell. Let's see. We have Miasma, an advanced ice elemental Magatama. It allows you to learn powerful high-level ice spells. It is once held by Mizuchi, who serves the overseer of the Kabukicho. There we go. Prison, and it grants null ice and weak to fire. Okay. Nirvana. Hell yeah. This Magatama spells like Team Spirit, and it's focused on light skills, and it lies sleeping within the Asakusa underground and may be purchased from the junk shop. After the restoration, it's got null light and dark weak. Okay. Murakumo. I'm familiar with that one. Another strength physical Magatama. Oh, damn. The music heard me talking shit. Okay, another strong physical Magatama of an even higher power level than Kamudo. It can prove vital to martial arts types, as it allows one to learn all the ailments nullification skills. It is hidden away in the Ikebukuro tunnel, guarded by Ongyoki. It grants strong physical wait, really? It has both? It grants strong physical and fire and ice weak. Okay, so it has two weaknesses. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Geis. This Magatama is focused on recovery magic. Ooh, banger alert. Hold up. Hell yeah, dude. This Magatama is focused on recovery magic, as it offers skills that will likely prove convenient. It is buried in Asakusa's underground, but is only after it's restored, and can be won as a prize for winning the Puzzle Boys stuff. Dude, okay. I don't know how the hell I'm going to run the Puzzle Boy game. I don't think I want to recreate that in a tabletop setting, because that might just be a pain in the ass. So I think we'll just come up with another way for the party to get that. Let's see. Bijed, a Magatama that specializes in buff skills. It's guarded by the three Femme sisters of the Obelisk, Clotho, Lakshas, and Atrops, and it grants null dark. Moose spell. With this Magatama, you can learn magical attacks that or magical attack skills that inflict ailments. And it's possessed by the tyrant Mara, who dwells deep within the demon world, or deep within the depths of the demon world, and can only be obtained by opening the door to the demon world and defeating him. This Magatama is known for having the highest magic stat bonus and granting strong ailment attacks. Not bad. All right, we have Gehenna, an advanced fire element Magatama. In addition to high-level fire spells, you can learn mana gain from it. Lying buried beneath Asakusa's underground can be purchased from the junk shop as well. Drains fire, and it also has ice weak. Okay. Kaburagi, powerful martial arts Magatama. It can teach you physical attack skills such as blight, as well as life gain. After the restoration, it is sold in the Collector Modikin's junk shop. Strong physical, but also weak to all magic. Damn. Remember, all magic means every single element. All magic attacks. Yep. You heard me. You will be in a world of pain. Just stretch real quick. Okay. Interesting. We have Satan, a wicked Magatama tied to the demon world. With it, you can learn special magic skills. When obtained by a demon, it changes them into evil creatures. Once the Yahiro no Himaragi appeared in this world, this Magatama created Black Frost, for example. It grants Null Dark and Light. See, Adama, advanced electric Magatama, you can learn Mana Surge and Electrain skills. That's good. Not only that, gods have been brought over from other worlds for this Magatama, meaning it can be found on the entity of the Labyrinth of Abala, Albion. It grants Drain Elect and Weak to Force. Okay, sounds good with me. Let's see, Vimana. Let's see, an advanced martial arts Magatama. With it, you can use skills that enhance your physical capabilities, such as Endure and Life Surge. Ooh, that's really interesting. I wonder if it works the same way. I'm thinking it does, because Endure, it's kind of good. Life Surge would be good depending on, like, the situation. I guess, like, we have to keep in mind, this is not like a solo run. This is going to be the player playing the Demi-Fiend, or, well, a Fiend, and having a party of players. We didn't even talk about recruiting and demons. That is also a thing that we have to talk about, but we'll get there when we get there. We're just still looking over the classes right now. And then, of course, after that, there's a lot to get into. Hey, what's up, Hawkins? How you doing? Oh my god, my avatar. Oh no. What is that emote? Oh my god, that's great. Oh, by the way, speaking of emotes, we've got new subscriber emotes, but you can also use the old subscriber emotes as follower emotes. So I think you guys should be able to use that. Hopefully. I think that's how that works. a little bit of a reminder. But yeah, welcome aboard if you're just popping in here and say, hey, how you doing? We are looking through the SMT3. Wow, okay. This is going to be a mouthful, okay? We are looking through Shin Megami Tensei, the RPG, Tokyo Conception. And this is based on the SMT3. So yeah. There you go. Nice. I'm glad you like the emotes. Appreciate you. Oh boy. Let's see what else we got here. I think we were on... Oh, right, we just read Vinma. Let's see, Gandari. Advanced Force Element Magatama. This teaches you Force Element skills. Protected by Bishamon in the Northern Temple. Let's see. Oh, God. One thing you say is new lately is that you saw a video on beholders and 15 dumb ideas for... Look, there's one idea for a beholder that I always laugh at, which was watching my friends do the DDO quest, and they did the DDO quest where you run around with the drunk beholder and you get into like a drinking match with them, and it gets really funny. It's just so ridiculous. Oh man. Let's see, what else we got here? We've got Sophia, gives you Samarikarim, which is just full revive, full party healing, and also Mediarahan. Ooh, that's really good. It's worth it. What else do we got here? Heard of a guy named Runesmith. The name sounds familiar. I don't think I remember him, but the name sounds familiar. Interesting. Let's see. He makes D&D videos and has helped him getting a few D&D books. Oh, that's why I probably heard his name. Because I'm like, the name sounds familiar. I just can't remember who they are. Oh, interesting. Was it them that made that video on Beholders? Oh, now I'm interested. Cool. Yeah, then I'll probably take a look at that a little later. Let's see. Okay. Gaia. Let's see. A Magatama representing the Mantra Army's absolute belief and strength overall. It's hidden in the underground treasure chamber below the Mantra headquarters. Is said to be only granted to those who can open the massive door. Oh, it's literally a stat check. That's funny. Hey, what's up, Bruce Nick? How you doing? Mostly silly names. Nice. I mean, look, I'm all for silly names. I think that's like some of the funnest parts when you're making like enemies in a D&D campaign or like any sort of campaign. Being able to make some silly, funny enemies is the best. Let's see. It's funny, they actually kept that in. To open said door requires an unmodified strength set of no less than 24. It grants strong fizz and force and light and weak to dark. Okay. I'm gonna have to watch the VOD for this one. All good. Don't worry. We're still looking through character creation, if you could believe me on that. Like we went through the introductory and sort of the world building section. But we're just now still like, I think we're like almost done reading through the Fiend class, and that's just the first class. Then we still have demons and humans to talk about. And if I remember, humans are interesting because in the Nocturne setting, there really weren't playable humans, and most of the party is demons, and you're the Fiend. So this is going to be kind of an interesting case. Let's see, and this is just talking about like all the other Magatamas. Yep, okay. Let's see. A massively powerful Magatama that grants not only the almighty attack spell Megadio, but it also reflective barriers such as spells like Makarakarin, Tekarin, and it is said to only appear in this world once the path leading to the tower can reach Kagetsuchi is found. It has no strong elemental affinities, but no weaknesses either. Humans. I know, right? Nothing scarier than a normal human who's lost a pet rabbit. You know, true. Like, it is interesting though. Like, when you look at the different classes, like humans, they level up the fastest and have like the most unique things about them is that they can use armor and weapons in a setting where in Nocturne there is no armor or weapon shop. That just doesn't exist. So this is something that you as the DM would need to facilitate or like make it so the shops in these towns, because there are shops that exist, you've got it. You know what I mean? So they're all naked. Technically, if you want to be technical, fiends and demons cannot wear armor. They cannot wear armor and they cannot equip weapons. So fiends technically just have the clothes that are on their backs. And it's just for aesthetic. They can't actually wear armor. It just doesn't work. Demons, I mean, look, bro, if they already are wearing a suit of armor, that's the exception to the rule. But humans, yeah, I would say a human in Nocturne setting, they're pretty fucked. I'm not gonna lie. Some demons you do not get. Of course. Look, man, some demons are monsters. Now, remember, demons are just the catch-all term for basically everything mythological in SMT, so use that as you will. Okay. So in this setting, demons are the normal and humans are the abnormal. So it's kind of interesting. So this setting is kind of a weird mix of, it starts with the end of the world, and the setting that takes place is in what you could consider if the world was fast forwarded like hundreds of years, and the world is mostly a desert. It's smashed down, crumbled, ruins of society. Think like Mad Max, sort of, but in a desert instead of like the wastelands entirely. Yeah, the apocalypse basically happened. So basically there's no humans. And if there are humans, they're not going to be human for much longer. That's all I'll say. So that's like the best way I could describe it. Fiends are humans that have ingested these like demonic bugs that have mana in them, and that's what sort of gives them demonic power. The only downside is, well, obviously you become a demon, sort of. It's weird because you're not exactly a demon, and they specify that you are not a demon, but you're also not human. So these are like the weird category things that you need to remember when you sort of look back on that. Okay, legendary Magatama. Behind the 24 Magatamas listed here, there exists another legendary Magatama, but it can only be obtained once all the rest have been gathered. It's called Masakados, and it is held by an ancient specter known as Masakado. The one who possesses this Magatama will gain ultimate power in the form of having a null affinity to all elements besides Almighty. Ooh. If only you can keep your good looks. You know what? You absolutely can. You absolutely can keep your good looks. Oh, interesting. Well, I have to like twist my head a little bit here. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, this page is, well, can I rotate this? Oh. Awkward. Okay, well, we'll rotate it for a second here. Look at this table. Okay, so this is the table with all the different Magatamas. Interesting. Okay, hold on. Yeah, there we go. It's a little bit cut off, but yeah, I'll just work with me here a little bit. I know, right? Just snap your neck on that. Okay, so each of the Magatamas have their own stats. So when you equip it, you'll gain these benefits, and then you would get the skills according to the levels. Okay, interesting. Okay, let me, hold on. There we go. Okay, well, that was looking at fiends. Now we're going to look at the fun part, because again, there are the three major classes, which is, it's funny. It's funny that it's the three major classes, because you would expect it to be like the different like races or species, because demons, humans, and fiends are three very different things. I'm surprised they're not labeled differently, but again, this book was written in like 2006, 4, around there. So okay, I think the more interesting thing that I just want to bring up again is like back at the start of this book, it mentions that the Shin Megami Tensei tabletop has been a thing since the 90s. And this book, I'm very surprised by. I'm really, really surprised by, because this was like the latest book, and it was following the system for Nocturne. I hope that they translate the other books, because apparently the other books are based on SMT 2. And I'm a really big SMT 2 fan, and I actually really would love to see that book make it over the pond one day. Or, you know, someone to translate that. I would be down to sort of take a look at that. But yeah, okay, well, let's get into reading demons. Yep, we're here. That's right. Okay, Tokyo Conception, you can play as a demon. Demons overall have higher stats and come with specialized skills, but they need 1.3 times EXP for leveling up, as well as Fiend. They can also do it through the Fusion and Evolution system. We're going to talk about the Fusion and Evolution system later, because trust me, that is going to be complicated. And they change some more advanced demons when they level up. Their stat growths occur randomly as well. And lastly, demons cannot equip weapons, armors, or even use items. Interesting. Let's see. Did you ever see the Warcraft books for D&D? Yes, actually. I have the whole collection of them. It's funny that you bring that up, though, Hawkins. So it's like I have the collection of the Warcraft. I have these all as like PDFs that we can maybe look at one night, where I have there's like 4 or 5 different books, like different setting books, different campaigns, and then they also have there's like an extra thing that someone compiled that has all of this stuff that they put on a website, which unfortunately the website's gone. You can't go there anymore. But they had additional classes and additional information for monsters online too that they added. It's weird. There's like a whole big thing of it. I think like I have like I made like a big zip folder of like all of the different PDFs, because there's stuff that's unique to the factions, stuff that's unique to adventures. I think there's a book on Kalimdor. It's a very cool thing. We'll definitely do a stream looking through that. Trust me, I love that stuff. That would be a very fun one to look at too. what can I say? I've really enjoyed looking through a lot of these different systems. So, you know, that'll be fun. We get to retread some old ground for me. I get to look at a 3.5 book, or I think it's a 3.0 book technically. But go figure. Let's see. Okay, so key notes that we learned from the start here. Demons have the highest amount of EXP needed to level up, but they can also be some of the strongest types of characters we play as. The other thing, their stat growth occurs randomly. So the trade-off here is you kind of get, what's it called? You kind of get a bit of that Fire Emblem stat growth. Let's see. And you cannot equip armor or weapons or even use items. I mean, I guess if we were talking like SMT 4 rules, I would say maybe if you have a high enough intelligence, you could use basic combat items, I would say. Or maybe we'll make a skill so you can do that. But outside of that, I'm okay with that because for balance purposes, demons are very strong. Because the thing is, the demons that you play as are basically just custom monster stat blocks, really. Because the monster stat blocks are kind of fucking cracked out. And we're going to talk about that once we look later in the book. Because all I'm going to say is there is a stat block for the Demi-Fiend if you really want to fight him in a TTRPG setting. And he is fucked up and will kick your ass, dude. So be very careful. Just remember, that's on you. And we'll get to it. That's going to be one of the things we can read. Let's see. Speaking of old WoW, they're poking at classic lore, but yeah. Let's see. Arachnid, Jiragumo, and Selket are your favorite. I think those are actually in the book, Krusnik. I think they are indeed in the book. So I think we might be able to pull up a stat block for some of them, I think. I know Jiragumo definitely is in there, I think. So we might be able to take a look at that. Ooh, banger track, hold up. Okay, so this is the unique mechanic that I'm going to be honest, me as a DM, this has me a little bit worried because this sounds complicated. Now, the funny thing is, my player that wants to play as a demon when I run the one-shot of this wants to play as a Mothman. So I told him, I said, here's what we could do. I would say either you pick one of the starter demons and make it, like, we can make it so you will evolve into a Mothman, or what we'll probably end up doing is I'll take a look at the Mothman stat block, I'll see how we can scale it down, and we'll try to match it up according to, like, one of the starter demons that you can play as. You tell him he'll owe you $5? Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm a little bit curious about how this works, because I know, obviously, the main gimmick of Megaten is fusing and demons evolving and recruiting demons. We're going to get to the recruiting thing, and I have something we can laugh about later, because I know in the past I made the joke about if anyone has ever seen the Pathfinder grappling flowchart, you're going to be confused. And I can confirm at the back end of this book, there is a negotiation flowchart, and it looks scary, and we'll talk about it. Okay. Evolution, or evolving. Some demons, when they reach certain amounts of EXP, may be able to evolve into a higher form of a demon. Most demons do not have an evolution path, however, this is not a typical progression path. Okay. When you have reached a specified level, you can choose to evolve into that specified demon, so as long as the party level is equal to or higher than that of the demon. If you choose to evolve, then you may also inherit skills as able to up to the maximum limit. There is no obligation to evolve, it is always a choice. Okay, well that's good to know. So if you ever wanted to stick with the demon that you are currently planning on using, well, you have that chance. I think that's good. Because I can tell you for a fact, like, there's going to be the one guy, and it's definitely going to be my friend. He's like, I want to stay a Mothman. Well, you know what? Sure, you can be a Mothman. We'll find a way to make you stay a Mothman, and you can just be the super Mothman. Let's see. Fusing. Demons can fuse together with other demons whose cards they possess in order to become different ones altogether. This method of progression is also limited by how high level the party is. Okay, so they are keeping that mechanic in check, because that was typically how most Mega 10 games work. You can't be a higher level than what you're already at. You know what I mean? So this will be good. And this also balances out because, again, Demon PCs are probably going to be the strongest initially. I feel like in the end game too, yes, they are still going to be strong because demons still have skills that are unique to only them, whereas player characters like fiends, they end up becoming strong because they're also bound by like whatever Magatamas they have. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see. Humans, I don't know what the end game is for human. I'm going to be real with you. I'm kind of curious when we get to reading that. Okay. In addition to normal fusion, demons can perform rank up fusions with elemental demons or even stay the same demon, but with enhanced stats and skills with Mitama demon fusions. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Demon PC creation. If you choose to play as a demon, make certain of the GM's recommendations for what demons would be ideal and the recommended level. Then select a demon that is equal to or lower than the recommended level, and if lower, then level them up to the recommended level unless the GM permits you otherwise. You may not do rank up fusions, evolutions, or fusions. Okay. GM note. You should not permit players to use evil aligned demons such as those from Haunt, Foul, Haunt or the Foul clans. Vile and Tyrant should be limited for boss use enemies only. Okay, good to know. End game for humans, just make a nuke. Yeah, man, I'm just gonna have Nova just pull up and just fire a nuke from the silo. Oh, man. Okay, optional level exceptions. When starting player characters from level 1 to 5, there are a few appropriate beginner demons to select from, such as the following. Optional rule may be used when starting as a certain level. Should recommended levels put fiends at level 5 or lower, the same level limitation should be relaxed for demons by allowing them to pick a handful or pick any of the following demons and then adjust it up to the level. Okay. So at least they're not completely screwed. That's fair enough to me. Okay, so you got Pixie, Kodama, Apo, and Shikigami. Let's see, with rules enabled, the player character should set the amount of EXP as though they had just reached the corresponding level and no higher. I mean, how is the Thor caused? Oh god, yeah. Dude, I think there is a clip of that somewhere from back when me and Kyle were doing the SMT1 streams. Oh my god, that was a while ago now. Dude, we still to this day laugh at how ridiculous it is that good old Governor Thorman or Representative Thorman fires the nuke for the USA, kicking off the apocalypse. Dude, it is the dumbest shit ever. Like, I think the funniest thing about that is after you finish talking to him and the text box closes, the timer just shows up on screen and you're like, oh shit, dude, we're fucked. And you try to run away and you're like, it doesn't matter, it's a nuke, dude. Oh, man. That's the fun part. Let's see. Additional level 1 demons. To accommodate players who wish to raise a demon PC up from level 1, we've added some additional demons adjusted to be level 1. Select one from the demons starting on the next page. And that would be like Mini Frost, Hellhound, Kotengu, are demons unique to the Tokyo conception and did not appear in the original game. Good to know. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so they do have some of these original ones here. When a nuke happens, you don't cry, you don't weep, you don't blink, you smile and embrace it, bro. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. So these are the recommended starter demons, and you would take them and then level them up accordingly as you need to. Okay. You get Pixie, Wapo, Mini Frost, Hellhound, Kodama, and Kotengu, which evolves into Kappa Tengu at level 19. Okay. Let's see. Good old Kodama turns into Sudama at level 13. Okay, so each of these do have a basic evolution line, and yeah, Hellhound turns into Inagami. Fair enough. Okay. I am kind of curious. Okay, so they do have their skills from the game, it seems like, mostly. I am kind of curious about these original ones. So Mini Frost, it's basically the predecessor to Jack Frost. A snowman-like fairy, Jack Frost in a miniature, has the spirit of winter's chill. It possesses a terrifying ability to freeze people solid. On the other hand, it has such a friendly, childlike purity to it. Let's see. Okay, so might is interesting. So one thing I do remember when I was reading through this book in my own time, when I got the PDF originally, was they did do some changes to certain skills. So things like might, there's no dark might or light might. And we're going to talk about that. There is an explanation why certain skills just don't work in a tabletop setting, because some skills were reliant on the rotation of the Kagatsuchi. So yes, the Kagatsuchi cycles matter. That does still seem to be the case in this tabletop game, and we'll get to it. But just keep that in mind, okay? Let's keep on looking. Oh, I have to like break my neck again here. Hold up. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see. So these are our starter demons. Okay, interesting. We have Pixie, Mini Frost, Gotama. Same thing that we looked at before. What is Anti-Force? Oh, I guess I'd just be resistant. Damn. Huapo is kind of stacked now. I'm thinking, okay, look, if you were min-maxing and you were being a demon, I would probably say go like either Huapo or Pixie, it looks like. Then again, that's kind of the problem. Okay, my problem is with a lot of Mega 10 demons. Sometimes their stats are bad. Sometimes their stats are not very well optimized, where it's like they may have pretty decent resistances or stuff like that. Well, you kind of know what I mean. Okay, let's rotate this back. And let's go back. Okay. Well, that was Demon. We looked at Fiend. And now we're on Human. This is going to be interesting. Because there really isn't any humans in Nocturne. Outside of, like, the main cast briefly. And then, well, they all kind of mostly turn into Fiends. I think except Hijiri. Hijiri stays the same, basically. For most of the time. But we're gonna have a lot of fun looking through this. Let me just drink some water real quick. Okay. One thing you will miss when playing Warcraft, you miss killing Blood Elves, damn. You know what? Fair point, fair point. Okay, I do have a confession for you, Hawkins. I have started playing WoW again a little bit. Some friends got me into it. I paid for a month. And it's okay. I'm having fun. I'm just chilling. Oh, man. Let's see. Class, human. Okay, I gotta just tell you again, it feels weird that the class is human. Like, that's strange. Like, why wouldn't it just be species? Or, well, race? Well, not really. I mean, it would just be species, I think, yeah, because demons, fiends, and humans. Yeah, class, human. I know, right? Elves used to be a class. You're right, they did. Elves and dwarves used... Yeah, like, you know, that could be something fun. Maybe we could look at, like, what is it, the first edition of D&D at some point? Because there's a lot of weird stuff in there that I always make fun of, because, like, Gary Gygax is kind of a dick in how he wrote the book. So it could be kind of fun to just read through, because he's kind of mean in some of his passages in that book. Like, when he talks about taxing players, and he means literally tax them, and he goes, you shouldn't be a nobleman. You can't be a rich person. Rich people wouldn't want to go on an adventure, or some things like that. I'm like, wow, you're a dick. You imagine a demon with a mustache and a big cook going, yes, I'm human. I drink the water and not eat the souls of the innocents. Of course, of course. Okay, let's get started. Modern day humans, unfortunately, unlike fiends and demons, they're nothing special. They die easily, and their stats are quite low. But, even so, among all the classes in the game, humans have the potential to shine the brightest. Interesting. How else do they get new lands? See? Look, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. HP multiplier and MP multipliers are pretty low. Starting class skills. Lucky Find. At the end of combat, can make a check to find items using luck. Lucky Smiles. Once per scenario, can nullify the effects of attacks on self. That's such a silly name. Lucky Smile? Wouldn't it just be luck smiles upon you or something like that? Okay, whatever. Ooh, they start with negotiation, unlike the other classes. Adventurers are just free pioneers while they consider you the sugar daddy of the team. Yeah, of course. Begin negotiation with one demon, and when used to gather info, gain one demon's info. Okay. All right. Interesting things. Subclasses. Humans are divided by a number of subclasses. These represent their learned experiences in the old world and mechanically provide powerful skills as they level up. Okay, well that's good. And I see some of these on the right and we'll get to that. Okay, let's take a look. Gear. Humans can equip armor and weapons created in the old world to make themselves stronger. They can also use items, and of course, moreover, humans have access to a great equalizer in the form of guns. Yeah, you know, that's the big equalizer. A fucking gun. All right. At the same time, guns are only powerful until their ammunition runs out, and obtaining more of it in this world is quite difficult. Therefore, guns must be used judiciously. The holy Glock, I know, right? Okay. Gear only for humans. Guns. When firing a gun, use agility for the check and power. Also, expend 1 bullet per attack. Gun damage equals gear power plus agility plus 1d10. Okay. Do not add your level to the gun damage. Fair enough. Fair enough. Not to be confused with the holy hand grenade. Oh my god. Okay. Fast leveling. Humans gain levels faster than fiends do, reaching any particular level requirement with about 80% of the amount that fiends would need to reach the same level. Change. With a Magatama, humans can become fiends. They can also fuse themselves with a demon to become a demon. This change is a one-way street, however. Since once a human changes to either a fiend or a demon, they can never become human again. Okay, so that's one important thing. It's a one-way trip. There's no way around it. Okay, null light. As humans are not demonic, they cannot be exercised via Hama spells, and they always possess the skill Null Light Affinity. Okay, well that's good. Bet you'll conduct the experiments? Oh no. Oh boy. Oh man. Well, now we're going to start getting into the nitty gritty here because I'm curious about how these subclasses are going to work. I feel like these are just going to be like some background, but oh, okay, no, these actually have. All right, cool. We're gonna look at this. Let me just pull that up real quick. There we go. Okay, cool. So, subclass introduction. Potential. A normal, typical young person. Why did they survive to see this world? It could only be that they were guided by fate. As such, what else is it that fate has in store for them? Lawyer, you're the most evil creature on earth. Oh, man. Reporter. Someone involved in mass media, such as a magazine writer. While searching for info on the Ring of Gaia cult, the conception happened, and they survived only by chance. They carry no weapons save for the info gathering skills, and their innate curiosity starts with an additional contact. Okay. We have the Brawler. A fighter trained in arts of unarmed combat, capable of facing down demons without weapons at hand. Perhaps it's their very own strength that earned them a place in the Vortex world. What style or school of martial arts they utilize is left to the player to decide. Fair enough. Okay. Let's see. If you were to play human in this world, you would assume you would be a mad bioengineer trying to create the perfect human. Oh my god. Dude, now that sounds like a crazy character goal. Oh, wait, no, actually. No. That means you can have the back. Okay, wow. Coming into play here. That means you would have the background of the Cathedral of Shadows occultist. And you could join the Cathedral of Shadows, and that could be your reason for surviving. You stuck around there and ended up, you know, doing that. There you go. Hey, see, now you can tie it into a background. All right, we like that. Okay, swordsman, a wielder of the blade. They survived the conception due to being in a confrontation with the Ring of Gaia. though a swordsman, it covers any martial artist devoted to a weapon. Okay, so it's just a general portmanteau. Okay. Is necromancy acceptable? I mean, well, one of the backgrounds you could have used to survive basically says you were resurrected by an angel. It's not exactly necromancy, but I don't know. Would you consider being revived a form of necromancy? Because you were technically dead, but you're not undead. You're alive again. I would say that's a debatable topic. Okay. What else we got here? A soldier. A soldier of the ground-based military forces, such as the JSDF. Having survived the conception, they carry on investigating the mysteries of the New World. They have an emphasis on gear, starting with a gun and body armor. Interesting. Say healing in general is necromancy. Fair enough. I kind of agree with you on that. There's a holy undead in World of Warcraft in Trench Crusade, so why not? You know what? You're right. Also, dude, Hawkins, the lore on holy priests for like undead are very interesting because they talk about it as it is the very light that's tearing their bodies apart because they're basically the opposite. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting lore thing. Right. We have the Maiden, a psychic or an esper who was raised by the Ring of Gaia in order to commune with gods from beyond our realm. Possessing the power to heal, they learn recovery magic. Interesting. A sorcerer, once a secret. Oh, hold on. Once a member of a secret magical society, standing in opposition of the Ring of Gaia, having evaded the conception, they now try to involve themselves with the genesis of a new world. They can learn offensive magic in the form of attacks. Bro, that's crazy. Okay, an Amanakin, an artificial humanoid condemned to forced labor throughout the Vortex world. Being similar to humans, they earned the nickname Monakin. Though the Monakin are created as disposable objects from the mud of the river flowing through Asakusa for some reason, the player character Monakin possesses memories of a former life of the old human world. In truth, Monakins are not humans, but demons. As such, in addition to the rules for humans, they have the following restrictions. They cannot use Magatama. They may be a different demon through manifestation, cannot be used as ingredients for fusion, and in addition to Null Light, they also gain Null Dark, but lose both if they ever stop being a Monakin. When the party is level 60 or higher, if their evil tendency is strong, they can evolve to Sakahagi. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. That can be dangerous. Okay, but interesting. I do like that that's an option, though. That's a very interesting decision. Let's see. They taste the rot in their mouth and feel the insects inside them, the pain underneath. Oof. It burns them in a sense. It heals them, but it burns. And the worst part is there are people wanting them as paladins. Oh my god, yeah, that would be a little bit controversial. It just wouldn't work. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual stat blocks here for these different subclasses. Okay, potential. You are general purpose. You start with a knife, medicine, basic stuff, really. Okay, luck smiles, item pro, good instincts, analyze, dia, and one talk skill. Okay. What else we got here? Reporter. Someone involved in mass media, such as a magazine writer. Yeah, okay, we read that already. You start off with a focus on luck, focus on agility. Oh my god, you have 1 vitality. Oh my god, your hit points are so low. Oh man. You think it's a thing? Imagine Void Elf Paladins, the literal magic nuke in the flesh. Yeah, true. Do the Blade Runner backstory of not knowing that they're a Monakin, thinking their whole lives were just a normal human. Dude, dude, now that would be a really cool idea. Oh man. Dude, the Blade Runner story arc would go crazy. Holy shit. I like that. I think that's a cool one. Alright, let's see. We got Brawler. Okay, yep, high strength. Mediocre vitality, mediocre agility. Actually, no, I mean, this is level 1 stats. That's fine. Wait. Oh, they get combat boots to start and have physical resistance. Okay. Let's see. Swordsman. The wielder of a blade. They survived the conception due to be in a confrontation with the Ring of Gaia. They get a katana to start. Fair enough. Although I think they did say it doesn't have to be a katana. It can be like whatever physical weapon you want. What the fuck is a monarchy? Look, man. Technically, if we're going off the rules on like how I'm building if we're going off the rules of how I am planning on writing like my one shot for my friends on this, technically Monacan would be ruled out since they would be starting the campaign just before the conception. So this would be like just before the conception, and then it happens, and then I think I would have them do the first dungeon, which would be the medical center, and have them go through that, and then from there sort of leave it as, hey, if you guys had fun, we can maybe look forward and see what else we've got. You know what I mean? But no, we're going to look at some of the scenarios because they do have some pre-written scenarios here that they recommend maybe you do as a one shot, maybe you have some fun with. There's more stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this book. We're like on like page 47 and there's like 300 something pages. We got a lot of stuff. Granted, a lot of that stuff is set up to be the bestiary and all these other things. So they just kind of condensed like the source book and the PHB and the DMG all together into one thing. Because let's be honest, as much as I would like more supplementary material, I don't think we're going to get that. There's only so much you can come up with. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We have the Maiden. Okay, yeah, the Maiden is just straight up healer. Yep. Magic stat, which is pretty good. All healing spells. You get Patra, Poison Moody, Paralyty. Basically, cures poison, cures paralyze. Hama, which is your light damage spell. I think... Okay, we have to look at how the spells interact in this game, because I know what these spells are because I've played an SMT game before. But we may need to see how different it works in a tabletop setting. That, and I'm also very curious to read about when we get to the... whatchamacallit, when we get to reading about how combat works. So I am kind of curious how that would go. And one of the friendly NPC's backstory gets exposed to the pure evils of chaos and becomes a demon pre-encounter. The players have a chance of stopping this from happening. Yeah. That's one thing I was thinking of. Like, or, okay, so what I've got sort of as an idea is at the start of Nocturne, they specifically mention the massacre at Yoyogi Park. Now, for me, that's sort of going to be sort of the crux of how I'm going to write this sort of one shot. And I think that would be a good example because in Nocturne, when you get there as the player, it's already happened. You know, the riot has already happened. The fight's already over and everyone kind of moved on. I think it would be interesting to have my players get there first, be involved in that riot, maybe see some demons and magic and start going, whoa, what's going on? And then we can use that as our ball to get going. You know what I mean? Because I think the tricky thing is like writing up the backstory on it, and that would be involving like how do you involve the cults, how do you involve the players in this, and you would laugh because the way I thought about it was similar to how like a lot of like Retro Megaten does it, and I think actually what is it, Devil Summoner 1 and 2 do it, and it is involving the internet where I'm gonna say, okay, as part of the plot hook for this campaign, I would have my players say, you guys were part of an underground music forum in Japan. And from there, you know, more talks about the end of the world happen. More things sort of go hand in hand. You know, the good old meme of heavy metal and demons and satanic worship. So we can use that as like a basis for this type of campaign. Come up with some sort of thing like that and then get going. That one anime that has the weird giant demons eating people. What the fuck? Let's see. I mean, well, there are giant demons. I mean, yeah, that could be it. It was long ago. Yeah, I don't know. Also, holy shit, you know, sorcerer is kind of juiced. Okay, high magic, high agility, Agi, Analyze, Bofu, Tarokaja, Makakaja. Okay, dude, this guy's power gaming. You're thinking of Blood Sea, dude. Okay. Blood Sea I have never seen, actually. I've heard people like that one. I don't know. Maybe it's not for me. I don't know. Beats me. Let's see. Soldier, Sure Shot, Analyze, Double Tap, Mighty Gust, Pinhole, and Focus. The terrible remake of Blood plus anime. Oh, okay. Because like I don't know. I remember people talking about that one before, I think. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Monokin. Item Pro, Expert Dodge, Panic Voice, Warcry, and Null Dark. Interesting. Character advancement. Every demon defeated gains or grants EXP. All characters who participated in combat, even if they are dead at the end of it, gain this EXP. Notice, when the demon is defeated, is 10 or more levels higher than the party. Each 10 full levels above the party grants double EXP. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Extra EXP is acquired when the scenario is over. This EXP is granted to player characters who were with the story the whole way through. So that would be total party EXP or party level times 10 equals the general EXP per session. Okay, so it's interesting. So you do EXP per session, but you also do EXP per encounter. Okay, and you just keep a running tally and then you just chalk up all the EXP. Okay. Let's see, to calculate EXP needed for the next level up, use the following formula. EXP needed to level equals level squared or level cubed. Okay. You need 80 EXP to hit level 2. You need 125,000 EXP to reach level 50. Okay. This formula only applies to fiends. Demons take a 1.3 times and humans take 0.8 times. For a list of EXP needed for each level, see the table. Okay, good. At least there's a table. That's the important part. Okay, benefits of leveling. The most important part, the main reason why you would want to level up. Okay. Increasing your stats. When leveling up characters, they have 1 point to add to their primary stat. Note, primary stats can never go above 40. Humans and fiends may choose to apply this stat point to any one of their choice. Demons must refer to the demon table stat growth and then roll 1d10 and apply it as specified. Okay. People like the gore fest, the massacre of the monsters eating people in wild ways. IMO Blood Plus is a much better watch. Oh, okay. You don't need stance, you need ammo. He needs more bullets. Oh, man. Okay, let's see what else. Value changes. Okay, leveling up means the following changes as well. Stat TNs influence the level, so they all increase by 1 or 6 if they are the stat you're increasing. Okay. HP and MP goes up. Resistances, base power. Okay, so yeah, a lot of the stuff that change when you're adjusting your stats. Okay. Fair enough. Skill acquisition. It is possible for a character upon leveling up to acquire a new skill. Which skills may be learned and at what level they are set or learned are differently for each PC. For fiends, it depends on their Magatama. Humans depends on their subclass. For demons, it depends on which demon they are manifesting. Interesting. If you're able to learn multiple skills in a single level up, you must choose from which ones you must. Okay, you must choose from the skills open to you. You may not select the skill that you have already learned. Even in the case of fiends with multiple Magatamas in their body, they can only gain 1 skill per level up. Got it. Okay. Let's see. I think this will be my only problem with the system is the EXP level. Yeah, and it's interesting because it did say the level cap. So, okay. It says the level cap for the system is 100. You can start at level 1 and level 100 is the cap, but they recommend starting anywhere between, like, I want to say level 4 to 10 and 20 at the highest, but they would say basically 10 would be the most you would want to be starting at. The only thing I'm worried about is the system seems like you will be leveling up during a session because granted, you're going to be getting a lot of EXP. We didn't even talk about the combat encounters, which there is a table. There are things we're going to need to talk about. So things that we still have to talk about that the system is going to go over, which once we're done with the character creation here, we're going to have to talk about rules. And the rules are kind of complicated from what I remember. And that's where a lot of the meat and potatoes are going to be of this discussion because it's tricky. I'm going to be real with you, okay? Because when you think about it in the context of an SMT game and Nocturne, why do you level up so much? Because you get into a lot of fights. There's a lot of random encounters. Think about that. How many random encounters are you going to be able to do realistically in a session of tabletop? Probably not that much. So I'm kind of curious how we're going to figure this out. Maybe we can figure out something where for bigger, more important fights, we go to the grid. Maybe depending on how the party wants to do it, we do a fight on the grid. Maybe we just talk out the fight and go through action by action and we go via initiative roll. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Okay. Let's see. HP recovery. Oh, okay, sick. You just get healed to full every time you level up. Same thing. Let's see. Acquiring extra skills. Every character may learn one skill from the extra skill table. In addition, at level 1, they're granted by subclasses. Additionally, each 10 levels, they may gain an additional extra skill in the same way. We roll a d20. You know what? Fair enough. Okay. EXP inheritance. EXP may only be accumulated, your total amount never goes down, and whenever performing fusion or gaining a new Magatama or changing your class, player characters remain at the same level of EXP. It can be viewed as their soul retaining all the experiences they've had so far. Demons are the sole exception to this, as with fusion and evolution and manifestation, may change one's level. And when it does, the demon is set to having an EXP amount as though they had been just reaching that level. Interesting. Okay. This goes from when they level down as well as their overall EXP will lower. For example, a level 7 Jack Frost undergoes a down rank to become a level 2 Pixie. No matter what, the EXP it had prior to the change and now has 10 EXP. The amount needed to... okay, so you usually don't want to down rank then. That's what I think I'm getting here. That's how you do it when your players... see, when your player's up, it's up to essentially a long rest. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the EXP table. Yep. That's, yep. The music definitely hit the mark there. Okay, yeah, humans level up very quick. Excuse me. Oh no, I'm out of water. Oh, well, I guess I'm gonna have to worry about that later. Oh, nice. Sick art. All right. You have no idea how to do a Japanese post-apocalypse theme. I'm going to be real with you. The way SMT is done, I would say just imagine it as Mad Max. Or like Fist of the North Star, because that's basically, when you think Japanese apocalypse, that's literally how they do it. It's just Mad Max. It's Mad Max minus the road warrior part, so you're basically on foot and run at like super speed with demon sprinting powers. Or shit like that. There you go, just so you guys can see the cover of that. Devilman. Yeah, literally, actually true. Actually true. Damn, you nailed it. It's literally Devilman. Yeah. Yeah. Good catch. Good catch. All right, now the hard part, the rules. Oh boy. Is that a Persona character? No, it is a Pixie. They are in the Persona games though, because they are a demon. Okay. Well, we went over character creation. We went over talking about the setting. How do you actually play the game? I know, right? We went through all of that just to now get to how do I play the game? You're sorry, what? Yes. So Pixie is a demon that is within the whole Shin Megami Tensei series, and they are a persona. All of the personas in the Persona games are demons from regular Megaten. They're just the different faces that you wear. The more you know. Okay, right. So, how do we actually play the goddamn game? Let's get to it. Let's see. You recommend checking out Devilman Crybaby, a good way to... I don't... Okay, I have kind of a mixed opinion with Devilman Crybaby because I think it's really good, but at the same time, not amazing. I feel like I think I would need to check out the original. Part of me feels like it tries to be a little bit too pretentious, or I don't know. It's complicated, but I think it's very good. I think it's very interesting, nonetheless. Let's see. You thought Persona was just someone's imagination doing weird stuff? Bro. Oh, man. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot. Alright. Beginning play. Within this chapter, you'll find the rules for playing the game. What? You've never played a Persona game? You know what? Fair enough. I forgive you, Hawkins. It's all good. It's just funny because most people have played. I would say usually most people when they talk about this stuff have played a Persona game and they don't know what the hell a Shin Megami Tensei game. Like, what is a Shin Megami Tensei game? So it's usually the other way around or something. That's funny. Or at least like just getting an idea of what's going on here. Okay. Within this chapter, you'll find the rules of playing the game with an explanation of the flow. All right, ground rules. Well, here we go. First, we provide 2 rules and which preside over all the others. Rounding. Yep, everything would be rounded down. Yep, that's par for the course. When outside the rules, you may find that the rules don't cover every single situation that may arise in play. When this happens, the GM is given the final say, as GM should base their decision on both common sense and what would enable the game to progress the most smoothly. Let's see. New people nowadays can't handle. You know, I feel like I'll probably check it out then, Prison, because it's funny because you say that and it's like, meanwhile, I sit here and I remember there was the one time I sat down and I binged like all of season 1 of Fist of the North Star, and like the original one, and damn, it was really good, dude. I was not expecting it to be so good. Oh man, I'm never gonna forget like when Toki took out the whole army as Ken makes his way to Souther. Wow, this is like really specific shit. No one will understand this. I'm sorry. I don't know. If you're an old head, I guess, and maybe you've seen Fist of the North Star, maybe you'll understand. Meanwhile, it's like my dopey ass in college was like on a train and I would just watch Fist of the North Star on my way to class. No, and it's funny. Why did I start watching it? Because one of my friends recommended it to me because we talked about like old martial arts movies one time and he's like, yeah, he goes, I like martial arts anime too. And we talked about like Fist of the North Star and I had never seen it. Like, of course you've seen like some of the memes and shit like the, you know, you're already dead and all that. But I was like, I've never actually watched it. So I sat down and watched it. And I'm like, damn, Fist of the North Star is really fun. It's a really good watch. And then it's like, dude, the story's so good, man. I can't believe what they... Dude, I'll never forget Ray's sacrifice. Oh, man. And then it didn't help that, like, the whole callback episode of remembering Ray's best moments, I'm like, that hit so different. And he struggled. He tried his best to, like, make sure he would stay alive, man. Oof, Sabada Ray. Never forget. Oh, man. Poor Ken, man. None of his friends usually get to stay alive, which is unfortunate. Oh, man. Okay. I know. Long tangent. Sorry. I just was on my Fist of the North Star shit for a second here. Oh, dude. You could totally make... make your martial artist character. Just make him Ken. Oh, man. Oh, let me switch tracks. This one's kind of a little bit too depresso for this. Hold on, where are we in the soundtrack? Okay, there we are. You're already dead, yeah. Nani? Hold on, what's this track? We can... Oh, this one's a good one. Oh, yeah, this track's really good. We'll leave this one on. This one helps set the tone. Okay. All right. Let's see. Similarly, when things come up that would harm the enjoyment of the game, GM's decision should take precedence over the rules, and players should abide by these decisions. Okay, so this is... Okay, these are interesting, because again, this book is kind of interestingly written. It's written for people who are fans of SMT, but also people who are fans of Tabletop. But there are sections that are nicely written, because it keeps in mind the fact that you as the player may not actually know, like, Tabletop rules, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of interesting. Good to know. Very good to know. Okay. Let's see. It is said and important to not misuse this power, and GM should keep in mind in two parts. First, any decision such as this should favor the players, and second, try to base your decision on making good use of the rules and thus making the game enjoyable. By doing so, everyone can have fun at the table together. Nice. I think that's really good. Okay, flow of play. Final battles can happen in dungeons, and lurking within those dungeons are a myriad of powerful demons. We'll call these climactic battle scenes dungeon attacks. When in a dungeon attack, there is no more escape, and all that awaits are difficult battles. Okay. The game progresses through the following phases: a warm-up, opening, a research, a dungeon attack, a boss battle, an ending, and then a cooldown. Okay. The actual play of the game session begins in the warm-up and lasts through to the ending. This period is defined as the session. No shit. Okay. Warm-up. This is where you begin your preparations to play the game. It is at this point that the players are given the trailer and then do character creation. Okay, so this is the session 0. Dude, wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on. Can we talk about how fucking cool this is? The book actually is explaining how to do a session 0. Bro, what fucking book talks about that? That's really good. Wow. I was not expecting that. That's really nice. I think that's really cool that it like actually is trying to teach you how to learn how to play a tabletop game the right way. I think that's really nice. Let's see, you're trying to remember an old anime you used to watch. It had like a lot of machinery and most of the bad guys. Oh, damn. Damn, you're good, Cruising. You knew right away. Nice. All right. Okay, the trailer. As the name suggests, the trailer is something like a trailer for a movie. It provides the players with the GM's vision of the day's adventure and not only suggests what the players might entail, but also explain the situation that the player characters will find themselves in. The GM may even find it appealing to provide individualized handouts to each player, detailing unique circumstances that the player will be faced with. Character creation. With everyone now on the same page, then we proceed to character creation using the adventure ahead. This part may be skipped if you happen to be playing a game that continues from the previous session, known as a campaign. Your friend calls you the anime encyclopedia. You guessed it right. Dude, that's awesome. Good going, Cruisneck. Okay, the opening. The opening is where the GM gets into the particulars of the adventure and describes, either for the party or the whole individually, how the characters get drawn into action. Here you should prioritize the story above all, so the GM should try to avoid any dice rolling here. Okay, research. This is where you gather information about the adventure and progress through the story. Players do this by using their contacts and their talk skills. They may find themselves interrupted by combat as well. This phase is made up of as many scenes as necessary, and once the story is developed enough to allow for the dungeon attack, research ends, and what is enough is left for the DM to determine. Okay. Let's see. The dungeon attack. Here, the players enter a dungeon to achieve their ultimate goal. This is where the players will face a series of tough battles referred to as combat, or refer to the combat rules on page 63. Okay. The boss battle. As the final obstacle of the mission, the boss appears and challenges the player characters. The boss battle serves as the game's climax. Enemies in the boss, or with the boss trait, are handled differently than other demons. And ending. Lastly, the story is concluded. During the ending, the players act out a scene that brings the story that is unfolded throughout the game to an end. Like an opening, the story takes precedence here, so once again, the DM should avoid rolling dice. And then cooldown. Once the game is over, there are still a few things that need to be taken care of. Together, these things are referred to here as cooldown. Here you may earn experience points and do character reviews. PCs that gain enough levels or get enough EXP to level may do so. Player character reviews. Players now review one another's characters using the review sheets and mark down which alignment they feel the player characters adhere to. Given their actions during the game, then the GM gathers them up and reads aloud the reviews. This concludes everything you need to know about how to play the game. Let's see, if time permits, you should make a moment to chat after the game, looking over the moments that you've enjoyed. Oh, it's so nice. I still think this is really cool that, like, even though I know how to play a tabletop game, I do like that this section exists. You know what I mean? Because if you're like a Mega 10 fan and maybe you haven't played a tabletop game, I think this is a really good way to like get you to understand at least a little bit the flow of how you should do it. And yeah, it's so strange. It's very user friendly compared to some of the other systems that look really complicated, like the fusion thing and all that. So we didn't even get into that. We'll get into that. But you know what I mean? I do like that this is very trying to help you understand and get you in there. And I think that that counts for a lot to me, in my opinion. I think it's a very interesting, good idea. Nice. Do like that. Let's see. Let me just double check this. Okay, sorry about that. Wait, what track are we on? Hold on, we might need to switch track. Oh yeah, we've got some... Oh, this will be a fun one we can have. Oh, hell yeah, this track's good. Okay. Scene overview. The story of your game will be built on units called scenes. Oh, that's funny. I think they call that in Vampire the Masquerade as well. I don't know if you've ever played VTM, but they usually call... So VTM is interesting because VTM's more about a game that's like a social game instead of a game where there's combat or having your tokens on a map. So it's kind of interesting that that's how they set that up here. It's funny though, this isn't exactly like that. There is obviously combat and dungeon crawling, so there is a grid. We'll get to that. But it is interesting that they sort of follow that. I guess that would be for scenes that are not in dungeons, maybe. But I still think I would like to have the players wander about a city. Maybe we'll figure it out. I'll have to see how I'm going to map that out. That's always kind of the hard part, because when you have to make a map of like a modern setting, it can be kind of tricky, especially when you're working out some of these things. Okay, the setup. What is the point of a scene? Define that first. Then the GM designates which player characters and NPCs are to appear in the scene. Okay, so yeah, it is doing a bit of like the theater of the mind thing. If the option is appropriate for the scene, the GM should give those player characters not included the option to join if they wish. Should a scene need to be focused on a specific player character, then the GM may designate that player characters as the scene player. Otherwise, just go with the flow. And lastly, if needed, determine the phase of the Kakatsuchi. Okay, that last line is concerning, because this could be where things get a little bit complicated, because again, in the game, the Kakatsuchi flows around, things switch around, you know what I mean? But yeah. Gotten over my party mates. They drew a dick in my character's painting of his sire. Nice. Yep. Okay. What else do we got here? Interaction. GM describes a scene, story plays out, conclusion. Once the goal of the scene has been accomplished, the GM decides it's gone on for long enough and the scene concludes, and thus the scene should have a scene player set it and end it once the scene... Okay. Let's see, moment for moment. Should start the next. During this break, you should affirm that no one was confused by what happened during the last scene, then assess what you want to do next before going to the next thing. Interesting. Damn, it's literally teaching you how to use different maps and jumping from scene to scene in scenarios, because now this is literally talking about like how would you do like cut scenes, sort of. You know what I mean? Interesting. Okay. Break. All right, I think we just read break. Separate scenes. During play, there may be times where player characters want to do things separately from one another. When this happens, the GM should push for each scene to be kept short while also giving all player characters a chance to shine. Good advice overall. PC-less scenes. At times, the GM may wish to provide context to the players or otherwise adjust the story. In cases, it may be helpful to run a scene and where no player characters are present, and doing so is perfectly acceptable. Oh man. Way to hit me in the gut with that, Kruznik. I'm thirsty. I don't have any water. I ran out. Probably need to go and get some. But we'll see. Maybe we'll just be a big boy and tough it out. Okay. Let's see. Okay, this is going to be the tricky thing. Tracking in-game time. Now, this is kind of difficult because, again, within the setting of the world, the only way to track time is the passing of the Kagatsuchi, and that happens very quick. Now, the problem with the Kagatsuchi passing time very quickly is, like, even in the introduction, mention that time is kind of stopped or gone too quickly or maybe not enough. So, you know, it is kind of a mess. We'll need to figure that out. Speaking of players going on your own, your character just went on a solo mission and introduced a temp character while your main boy is away. All right, fair enough. That's good, so at least you're still involved. Okay. All right, tracking time in game. Guideline 1. Separate narrative time from the scene. The GM should tailor the amount of time that passes during a scene to suit the needs of the story. Of course. Okay. Guideline 2. Each scene has its own Kagatsuchi phase. Okay, that is the other thing that's interesting to know. I would say every time the players advance a map, push the Kagatsuchi phase one more time. I think that would be the way to go here. Okay. Normally, Kagatsuchi waxes and wanes in a linear cycle. During a dungeon attack, the Kagatsuchi phase progresses as though it phases in steps with the adventure itself. This means that with each scene that happens during a dungeon attack, the Kagatsuchi phase also progresses by 1 according to the chart. Refer to the chart on page 301. On the other hand, the narrative nature of TTRPGs requires some capacity to manipulate the passage of time. As such, when the change of scenes requires it, it's fine to decide a new phase of the Kagatsuchi. The GM may freely set the phase as they like, or roll it randomly to determine. Okay. New character is a life cleric of Lulth. When the heals are getting flavor, it is causing extreme pain before the heal takes effect. Oh my god. Now that's hardcore. Okay. Okay, units of time. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Scenes, a unit of measurement on their own. They have no relation to how much time passes. A round, a unit of time in combat. Each round takes about 10 seconds to 1 minute. Okay, so a round takes a little bit longer than your regular like D&D round per character. Interesting. A healing patch laced with alcohol. Ooh, ooh, I can just imagine the burns on a cut. Ouch. Or salt. Oh no. That's just evil. Okay. Phase. The time in which it takes for the Kagatsuchi to progress, is to its next phase. Though Kagatsuchi isn't a moon, phase is used for convenience. Starting from new, it takes 8 steps to get to full, then another 8 steps to get back to new, with 16 phases altogether. We measure phases 0, new, and phase 8, full, and then go to phase 15 before returning to 0 again. There's no fixed amount of time between phases, however, you may say, as a rough guide, that it takes less than 2 hours. Okay, well that's important to know. So the full phase is at least 2 hours. Damn, there really is no sense of time in this world. Interesting. Let's see. This unit of time marks 1 full turn of the Kagatsuchi's light. This makes for about 30 hours. Okay, never mind. 30 hours, which is about 1 day. Being in the Vortex world, this matters little, of course. Dude. Wow. Whoa. Dude, 30-hour day. Oof. Okay. Ooh, banger alert. Hold up. Okay, this song is sick. Anyways, when the time is, full. When the time of Kagatsuchi is at its brightest. At this time, demons are driven into a frenzy, and speaking to them is impossible. Random encounters with demons become far more likely. Sacrificial fusion becomes possible as well. New. The time when the Kagatsuchi is at its dimmest is never quite, it never quite gets dark enough to be called night, but many humans tend to rest around these time regardless. Interesting. Oh boy, here's the video game part. Okay. Using the Kagatsuchi chart, outside of a dungeon, the GM may decide the phase of the Kagatsuchi as they please, but when time is progressing linearly, however, take the following steps. Advance the chart by 1 phase per scene. Okay, that's fair enough. Advance the chart by 1 phase per combat. Interesting. Okay. Each time the Kagatsuchi passes phase 0, have the party make luck checks. Should all party members fail, or even if one member auto fails or fumbles, then they have an encounter with NPC demons. On the other hand, if someone rolls a critical, then a favorable event occurs for that PC. They may run into a friendly NPC demon and pick up an item of the like. Okay, I think that's a good solution to this. I was curious because the Kagatsuchi system, this was how it recommended doing random encounters. This kind of works out well then. I'm going to probably use this rule to advance it by each phase as like the scenes progress or as they get into combat encounters. Let's see. Danger level. In the game, danger levels are represented by a color. Use the following. Blue means it's safe, yellow means it's low danger, and red means that they're a regular danger. Okay. Then we have the random Kagatsuchi phase table. Okay. Skills and, let's see, checks and skills. These stats. A character's stats represent what sort of actions the character is more suited in doing. There are 5 stats. Strength, magic, vitality, agility, and luck. And each one is explained below. Okay. Strength represents physical attacks, hits checks for both basic strikes and physical spells, and as well as their damage, and they rely on strength. Okay. Represents one's ability to cast with magic and cast checks for both spells that are magic skills as well as their damage. Rely on magic, and it is also used in calculating MP. Good to know. Okay, actually, you know what? Give me 1 second here. I will be right back 1 second. I'm going to get some water because I actually ran out of water and I'm thirsty. So, be right back 1 second, everybody. 1 second. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh man, what can I say? I'm dying of thirst here. Look, that's what happens when you're basically reading a book out loud, don't you know? Okay, where were we at? We're at vitality. Okay, represents the level of one's endurance that they possess, is used to calculate HP and recover from ailments. Okay. Good, so it has saves, it also has dodge checks. Ah, I see, it's good to know agility is just as good as it is in D&D. Where it literally is also acting as initiative, nimbleness, initiative, and dodge check. So AC and initiative, fair enough. Okay, luck. Now, I'm kind of interested in luck because a lot of TTRPGs don't have luck. They usually have charisma. SMT doesn't have charisma. I mean, negotiating is basically luck because when you're talking with the demon, like, let's be real. They're gonna out-riz you, bro. It's not gonna work. Unless you're immaculate. But let's call it luck. Let's see. Used in all sorts of checks not mentioned above. Let's see. These include awareness checks, perception checks, and negotiation checks. Okay. No, it's basically charisma. Okay. It is also used for determining one's fate points. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Certain things such as your class, your Magatama, and items may modify your stats. However, when you would use that stat for a calculation, make certain that you're using the total number of modifiers included. Okay. Dice. This game uses 2 D10s, and the faces of the D10 should be marked from 0 to 9. Let's see. From this point on, references to this. Okay, so it'll be referenced as a D10, but always just assume the dices are 0 to 9. Okay. Sounds good with me. Basic checks. Whether you are unsure whether a PC or a demon's action succeeds or not, that's the time to make a percentile roll. Every check made has a target TN, which differs depending on the check. As a result of the percentile is equal to or less than the TN. Okay, so it is defender win. Yeah, equal to or less than, it's a success. If it rolls higher, it's a failure. Wait a minute, hold on. every check made has a target TN, okay, target DC, which differs depending on the check. If the result is equal to or less than the target number, it's a success. Wait, so it's opposite? Huh? So you want a lower TN to make it more difficult? Hold on. Okay, I guess. Interesting. Hold on. Oh, this will probably explain it. Okay. Basic formula for determining TN. Relevant stat times 5 plus level plus modifiers. Modifiers to TN may be represented by a percent symbol, for example, plus 20%. This is a typical TTRPG convention, and all it means is to add plus 20 to the TN, not increase the TN by 20%. Okay, so then why put the percent, bro? Just make it plus 20. I mean, right? Am I wrong? Anyways, a percentile roll is a method to obtain a result of 1 to 100. Well, that's okay. If I'm playing in a VTT, I'll just tell them to roll a 1d100. Let's see. By rolling 2 d10s, yeah, you mark one as the 10 digit, you mark one as the ones. Okay, we already went over that example. Okay. I am kind of curious about this part. Special numbers. When making a percentile roll, should the result be one of the following numbers, a special outcome occurs, such as succeeding, failing, regardless on what the TN is. Regardless of the TN, the check succeeds, becoming a critical hit if it's at a 0. Regardless of TN check, it automatically fails, so 96 to 99, and then double 0. Regardless of the TN, the check massively fails, becoming a fumble. Something bad will also occur. See below. Interesting. Oh, hold on, we're changing the track. What is this one? Nah. You know what? We can leave this on. It's swanky. Okay. Alrighty. Critical hit. Should the result of your percentile roll be equal to or less than 1/10 of the TN, the roll becomes a critical. And if you possess the Might skill, the attack becomes a critical hit whenever equal to or less than 1/5 the TN. Checks also become critical hits on a 1, regardless whether that would be less than 1/10 or of the TN or not. Whenever you roll a critical, you deal double damage and you ignore the target's resistance. That is incredibly important. Holy shit. Well, I'm remembering that one for later because I know that 100% will come up in an encounter somewhere. Okay, fumble. If the result of your percentile is a 00, that always results in a fumble. The character who fumbles has something bad happen to them. For example, making a critical hit or making a hit check for an attack, they may hit an ally or themselves, or if making a dodge check, they take double damage and the resistance doesn't apply. Furthermore, when you fumble, you become cursed. What? This expands your auto-fail range to 86 to 99 until you are no longer cursed. You have 30% chance each time you take an attack to have something bad happen to you. Refer to... Bro. Wow, that's fucking rude, bro. Okay, refer to that for more details on curse. All right, what is the fumble table? Bro, they have a table to show that you fumbled the bag, bro. Okay. Hit check. Hit yourself or your allies. Dodge check. Treat it as though you've been hit by a critical. Negotiation. The target is ranged and combat ensues. Save. The ailment remains. Your HP and MP are halved. Any other check, bad things happens. The GM is free to determine what. Okay. You bet these demons don't know what chili fries are? Bro, they don't. Bro. Okay. Let's see. Using skills. Let's see. Characters have special abilities called skills. Some skills provide passive effects, granting their benefits from the moment they are learned, while others operate differently. If a skill is not passive, then make the following steps to use it. Declare the skill that you want to use, select the target, and pay the cost. Make the check. If it's successful, determine the power, apply all effects. Okay. Well, that sounds simple enough. The costs are paid before making the check, so even if the spell check fails, the cost is not refunded. Obviously, you're not getting your mana back for that one. If you cannot pay the cost, then you cannot use the skill. If paying the cost would reduce you to 0 HP, then you die after using the skill, bro. All right, well, I guess there's no safety net for stupidity. Just, don't do anything dumb. Well, fair enough, I guess. Okay. When there are no applicable targets for a skill, the skill effect is wasted. For example, if a skill targets 2 enemies and you use it when there's only 1 enemy to target, then its effect is only applied to that enemy. Should you use the skill when there are no enemies present, then the entirety of the effect is wasted. A debuffing skill, for example, cannot be used in advance to hit enemies that are just arriving. Okay, so that's good to know. I guess it would be considered a waste or like a fizzle. So even if you fumble, there are times you may still need to determine power, such as when hitting yourself or an ally. Oof. Unlucky. Okay. Well, let's see what power. Power is the measurement that determines the impact of a skill or an attack, and it's calculated with the following. Okay, so power is your base power, plus your skill modifier, plus your power roll. Okay. Sounds fair enough to me. All right, base power is, okay, so base power, I see. Okay, so it actually is different depending on if you're using a physical attack or magic. So your physical attacks is base physical power equals strength plus level. So your strength stat plus level gets plugged back in up here, add any skill modifiers, so anything else, and then you do the power roll for however much damage the skill was going to do. And then that's the base damage. Okay. So some skills like buffs and debuffs may have unique ways of determining power. If they do, follow their instructions. Well, fair enough. Okay, what is a power roll though? For a power roll, roll 1d10 and then use the number shown. Should you roll a 10, you get what's known as an explode. An explode? Roll 1d10 again and then add that number to your previous number. Should this new roll also be a 10, you explode again. Wait a minute, bro, is this Maelstrom? Bro, hold on. You can explode any number of times during the power roll, and the outcome of all dice you rolled is added together. For an example, if you first roll a 10, then another 10, then lastly roll a 6, your outcome is 26. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I think my players are going to have a lot of fun with this one. Certain buff skills or debuff skills may change the number necessary to score and explode. Oh, brother. That's going to be a lot of fun. Using 2d10s for power rolls. Some skills will indicate that they need to add a die to power rolls. This is in this case, roll 2d10s instead of 1, then add the numbers together for your total. Explodes can occur on both dice. No! Holy shit. Okay, this is going to be kind of crazy. Dude, you're going to be able to crank out so much damage. Holy shit. Okay. All right. If both dice show 10s, both explode and are rolled again. If you roll a 10 and then a 1, you only explode for that one die that rolled a 10. Wow. All right. All right. They cooked with a little bit of sauce here. All right. Okay. Skill modifiers. Skills may provide a bonus to damage they inflict called its potency. If you're not using a skill, then the skill modifier is treated as 0. Okay. Critical. When rolling a critical, determine your total power, including the power of the dice, then double that amount. Okay, so this is important to note because I think in Pathfinder, you just roll damage twice for a critical. That's how it rolls, or that's how it's ruled technically. Here it's just, no, you literally times 2 your damage. I bet. Sounds good with me. Affinity modifiers. Skills have elements, and when that element matches the target's affinity, skill's power may be modified depending on what affinity it is. This modification is applied to after the critical modifier, if applicable. And fixed power. For NPCs and high-level player characters, it may be desirable to use a fixed number in place of a power roll. When using the fixed power, do not roll any dice, but rather treat the roll as if it had been a 5. Okay, so I guess if you didn't want to roll, you could just go for the average. Interesting. Okay. Well, now we're on fate points. Okay, so it's funny. I'm familiar with the fate point system because I've played the Warhammer tabletop game before. So it is kind of interesting. See, for you, crits are max possible damage. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So maximum damage plus another damage roll on top. Okay, okay. I like that. Look, part of me, I really like the setting of this. I think the exploration will be fun. I am terrified of the combat now that I'm reading this, because this could be disastrous. It sounds like it can get very scary with damage output. Let's see. You rolled 2 1s on a crit. Oof. You only know about what fate points are because of the Alpha Busa video you saw on it. Okay. Yeah, so essentially fate points allow you to sort of cheat the system. Like, something is bad going to happen to you. Say you need to make a save and you fail it. You can spend a fate point with your DM and say, hey, I'm going to use a fate point. I'm going to re-roll that. And then you re-roll it. You could do that for, say, I need to use a fate point to make sure that this attack hits and I get to roll again. Something like that. It's kind of up to a DM discretion a bit. So, interesting. Okay. So, fate points. Fate points are an abstract representation of a character's luck, the favor of a god, or something like one, an intense focus, or even having the instinct for when to put it all on the line. Characters gain the following amount of fate points at the start of the game session. Fate points equal to luck divided by 5 plus 5. For each point spent, the character may obtain one of the following effects. Oh, so they actually have a table for how many? Well, not a table, but okay. You can spend up to 3 points. Let's see. Reroll a roll they just made for 1 point. Okay. Okay. 2 points. Changing the TN of a roll to make sure that they're making by another plus 20. Having the damage they or an ally is taking. Okay. These effects may only be used just before or just after the dice had been rolled. Once the game has moved on, there's no turning back and having them applied retroactively. For example, if you think that you'd like to redo your percentile roll, you will need to do that before making your power roll. Multiple fate points may be spent at one time. A single roll may be re-rolled as many times as desired, as long as you've got the fate points. And incoming damage can be quartered or even eighth. Be sure to round down decimals. Lastly, a roll with altered TN may still be re-rolled and will retain the altered TN for the roll. Okay. Fair enough. What track are we on? Oh. Hold on. Oh, this track's a little chaotic, so get ready for it. Vibing a little bit. It's kind of a bop. Okay. Multi-actions. I'm kind of curious how this works. When you have a TN, or when you have 100% or higher of a TN roll, you may choose to make an additional action. Multi-actions. Multi-actions allow you to perform the same action 2 or 3 times consecutively in the same round, but no more than 3. If using a skill, the cost must be paid for each time it is used in the multi-action if the target of the skill cannot be changed between uses as well. If the base TN, due to concentration, action, or support buff, reaches 100 to 199, the action is taken twice. If the TN reaches over 200, then the action is taken 3 times. Divide by the original TN for the number of actions to find the TN for each multi-action. What the fuck did I just read? Hold on. Okay. So TN is basically our BAB. If your BAB goes over 100, you now get a second action. If your BAB goes over 200, you now have 3 actions, and then the actions are divided amongst. You can't redirect attacks. You can only choose all 3 of your actions at a time. Okay. Okay, I think I get that. Adjust a critical value for each based on the new TN. Okay, that's math. Okay. You're making a basic strike with a TN of 120. You declare a multi-action, so you take 2 basic strikes with each with a TN of 2. Okay. Okay, I see. Okay, so you divide the total number by the amount of actions you're taking. So you can get multi-actions in. Only... Okay, I get it now. All right, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. This is just a little bit wordy. Okay. You're making a magic check with a TN of 110, or 210. With your multi-action, use Agi and then Cat 3 times in a single round. Each with a TN of 70, paying the MP cost 3 times for 9 MP. However, you may not combine other things, so Agi and Bofu. Or you may not combine, for example, Agi and Bofu in doing this. Okay, so if you're going to do the action, you need to only make it the one action, and then you do that multiple times. Okay, fair enough. That sounds pretty reasonable to me. Okay. Let's see. Auto success in skills and multi-action. Skills that automatically pass their checks cannot be used for multi-action. Fair enough. Canceling multi-actions. If due to a reaction or a ranged attack, you are unable to pay the cost or prevent from acting during a multi-action, then the remaining parts of the multi-action are lost. Okay. Fair enough. Fate points and multi-actions. Before making a multi-action, you may use a fate point to increase the TN as normal. Then once divided, you may use the fate points to individually raise the TN of one part of the attack. So let's say you're making a basic attack that has 120, then you declare a multi-action, use a fate point at the same time to raise the base to 140, then you divide it, so now each attack is 70. If you fail the first check and you really want that second one to land, you can spend an additional fate point to raise it by another, or to raise the TN to 20, or to raise it to 90 by adding another 20. Okay, I see what's going on here. Damn, you can really resource dump like crazy. Holy shit. Okay. All I'm saying is, once the players get really good at the system, these encounters are going to kind of get pretty tough. They are going to be very tricky, and I think sitting down and explaining these things are going to be kind of the key here. Okay. Let's see what we got. Okay, oh, these are just talking more about lore stuff, and yeah, you know what, we'll talk about those. Okay, Reason and Himuragi. In this section, we learn the creation of a new world, the ultimate goal of Tokyo Conception, and the reason that will lead us to it, and explain the Himuragi and the gathering of the Magatsuhi. Okay. Flavor rule. This rule found in this section are flavor rules, which are made to help your story feel like a true Tokyo Conception story. GM should feel empowered to change any term or place name they encounter in this section and bring it in line with their own scenario, but make sure that you convey these changes to the players or they might get confused. Fair enough. Also, I do love that Rule of Cool is just its own category. Very, very well done. I like that. I approve. Okay. What is a reason? What's reason? The Vortex world, the world of Tokyo Conception, is an egg from which a new world will hatch. The old world has been scoured away in the conception, and the one who stands victorious over the Vortex world will decide the reason. The founding principle upon the new world will rise. Whatsoever reason, or whosoever possesses reason, strives to face the creator of the Vortex world, then pass its judgment, will then be able to create a new world via that reason. Currently, top reasons in this world are called Shijima, Yasuga, and Masubi. Okay. Now, this is going to be interesting, because this is going to be, again, more parts for people that didn't play Nocturne, or understand what Nocturne is. So this is going to be tricky. Conditions for creation. It is believed that the following conditions are needed to establish a reason and use it to give rise to a new world. Established ideals. One must establish the nature of their reason if it is to be a basic principle of the new world and to be able to explain it in simple terms. It must be represented by a single fitting word. Summon a god. One must gather enormous quantities of Magatsuhi to make real their reason and summon a god from beyond this world, which will serve as a guardian for the new world. There are many ways to gather Magatsuhi, but using the Himuragi, a special item within Magatsuhi, can accumulate is best. And be judged. one must face the creator god and through its judgment be acknowledged as a creator. According to the scriptures of Miroku, it is said that the Kagatsuchi itself is the manifestation of the creator god. To meet the creator god, one must present the Yahiro no Himaragi and climb to the top of the Kagatsuchi tower. Damn. Okay. To achieve these three conditions, those who would uphold the reason have formed into distinct groups and now seek to gather Magatsuhi and destroy the other competing reasons. These groups are referred to as factions and are one of the cornerstones of the game. Okay. Well, yeah, that is the thing. Name of the game is factions. Oh yeah, speaking of the devil, there you go. Now we're going to actually talk more about the other lore things here, because this is important, because if we're going to be writing a story and running a campaign here, we kind of need to have our factions in line, because these are going to be like the main thing that the players are going to be interacting with here. And yeah, it's going to be kind of complicated. I'm going to be real with you. Okay. Wow, I'm glad I got some water here, because we're going to have a lot to talk about here. Also, this is kind of interesting. I see here endorsement points. Damn, you can actually have reputation points? Okay, all right, we're going to hold on to that. Okay. Let's talk about factions. To forge the world's reason and have it shape a new world, joining the Yakuza. I mean, I think one of the factions is basically the Yakuza. Yeah, the Mantra Army. It's basically the Yakuza. I'm going to be real with you. Okay. To forge the world's reason and have it shape a new world, one must gather large quantities of Magatsuhi. And to do that, one must create a large enough faction to stand against the Vortex world. While the Assembly of Nihilo and the Mantra Army are highly influential, many independent factions have begun forming as well. The Assembly of Nihilo, after causing the conception, the Ring of Gaia leader Hikawa formed this organization in Shiodome. Through meticulous planning and scientific methods, he has begun effectively amassing Magatsuhi, while at the same time constructing the obelisk. Hikawa holds the reason of Shijima, which desires the world of stillness. Okay. The Mantra Army. The warlike demons, led by their ringleader, Gozu Tenno, they view strength to be, or as the be-all, end-all, and however, they were not able to clearly define the reason, so that at one point were destroyed. Afterward, however, they met Tachibana Chiaki, and was so born the reason of Yasuga, which aims to be a world only for the elite. Okay. The souls of the Amala network. The souls within the Amala network tend to strongly value their solitude, and thus their isolationism prevents them from becoming their own faction. However, Nita Isamu, idealizing that very concept, formed the reason of Musubi, and then later summoned the god Noah at the Amala temple. Monarchins. The human-like Monarchins, who serve as a serf class to the Vortex world, have escaped from the Mantra Army captivity and formed their own isolated colony in Asakusa. They are led by Futomimi, who possesses the power of precognition. Even so, they have yet to establish a reason. The Fairy Kingdom. Amassed in Yoyogi Park, led by Oberon and Titania, the fairies live here, live a quiet, peaceful life, protecting the Yahiro no Hibaragi. They too, however, have not formed the reason, and as a faction, they are quite weak. Okay. Shibuya, the Free City. A free city ruled by a fallen demon Dekarabia. Formally speaking, Shibuya is on the side of the Assembly of Nihilo, but it has also formed an alliance with the fallen demon Fornius in Shinjuku's medical center, and operates as more of an independent faction. So as players, could you be part of different factions? Or would that be counterintuitive? I feel like the game is trying to lean, like the way the book is phrasing it, it's very heavily leaning the party into becoming their own faction, where it turns into, do you guys ally with them? I would say you can have friendly relations to some of these factions, but remember, at the end of the day, it's going to be an all-out war. So I would say you either align yourself with a faction, or if you create your own faction, make sure you get the best of things you can before it's too late. I would feel like if the party is to spread out their their factions in between, I think that might lead to some problems, but maybe we'll see. We'll see what the book says here. The chili fries monglers, yeah, man. Labyrinth of Amala, a faction of powerful demons lurking within the depths of the Amala network. They're arranging a battle royale of fiends holding menorahs with the ultimate goal of resurrecting the demon god. PC reasons. Initially, most player characters will not have their own reason. However, during the game, one may follow the steps in order to engage with a reason, contribute to a particular reason, nurture a himoragi, and summon an outer god. Okay. I mean, look, if the players in my setting want to give it a shot, I would be down to let them forge their own reason. It would be complicated because, again, there are other reasons already. But I would be interested. I would be open to seeing what they would do. Okay, endorsement points. Let's see. Player characters can become involved with existing reasons or factions. This is represented through the use of endorsement points. Each time a player promotes a particular reason or acts and aids a faction, they roll 1d10 and gain that many points towards that faction. At the same time, the player character reduces EP towards all other factions by 1. EP can never go lower than 0 and is tracked and maintained for each faction. Interesting. Okay, that's important to note. Your own god, live out your best. Yeah. Yeah. EP within factions. EP indicates influence within a faction. With plus 50, you'll be seen as a tried and true ally to the faction, while having plus 100 will get the player character an invitation to become a leader within the faction. To serve as a representative of the faction and realize the ideal of a new world, the player character must have an EP of 200. Okay. Let's see. EP and a faction of your own. Of course, the players can decide to reject all the other factions and declare a new one and begin accumulating EP for a faction of their own. When going this route, once the players have declared their intention to start their own faction, they may gain points as described above. However, player characters should keep in mind that each time they earn EP for a faction of not of their own, from their own, they lower their EP by their own faction by 1 as normal. Okay, so if you do make your own faction, you do have to account for that. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that to be so robust of a system. I think that's very interesting. That there is also this back end of, sure, you could work as an independent, but you still need to manage between the different factions. And of course, remember, at the end of the day, it's going to be all out war. So it just depends on who do you side with, or are you making your own faction? And I think that's a very interesting fact that the players will have to come to. Okay, well, it's time to talk about the himoragi, which is literally the reason why this thing works. This is interesting, because now we're talking about, like, if the players wanted to make their own faction and form their own reason, this is it. This is how you do it. And this is going to be really interesting. The himoragi. Himoragi are special items of vital importance to the party. The GM should grant these to the players whenever they make it, or whenever it makes sense to do so. These may be granted when the players have endorsed a faction or are randomly discovered elsewhere. Himoragi can come in the shape of pyramids large enough to need both hands to carry. Interesting. Gathering Magatsuhi. With a himoragi secured, the player character can gather Magatsuhi from defeated demons. 10% of a demon's EXP value is granted into Magatsuhi to a himoragi. Once a demon is defeated, the himoragi also comes with 100 Magatsuhi already stored in it. Hidden power. Once per session, a himoragi may be used to grant one of the following special traits. This costs 20 Magatsuhi to use, so these effects can be even used by PC or by demon player characters and take no action to perform. Oh, so these are like bonus actions out. Oh my god, these are like interesting. So you would probably either use this as a get out of jail free card, but remember, you're spending your overall resource that you would use to, basically win the game. Okay, this is very interesting. Very, very interesting how we're going about this. What track are we on here? Oh, you know, we'll leave these tracks on, but I know what's coming up next. Okay. What are the actions? We have balance, remove all buffs and debuffs. Bless, cancel the effects of one skill or attack. Restore, completely restore a target. They may be revived from death, heal HP and MP, are fully restored, though fate points are not. And release, remove all elements from all allies. Okay. Summoning gods. Once the Yahiro no Himuragi is produced, a player character may use the Magatsuhi they've stored up in the Himuragi to summon an outer god. Should the god summoned be powerful enough, the player may reach Kagatsuchi and create a new world. Okay, so how do we summon a god? Let's see, summoning conditions. The following conditions must be met before summoning a god. 200 plus endorsement points to summon an outer god. One must be the representative of a faction. 50,000 plus Magatsuhi. As the god summoned will be from a world beyond this one, it requires an enormous amount of Magatsuhi. The quantity is 50,000. It is said that the Assembly Nihilo system has already accumulated around 20,000 and that the Yahiro Himuragi already has 50,000 within it. So you choose a god. Okay. You may choose from either of the three gods from the Amala Temple or from the high gods that do not appear as enemies or event bosses listed below. Okay. Albion, Skadi, Axiel, you have Vishnu, Shiva, Amaterasu, Horus, Odin, and Michael. Interesting. Okay. And then secure holy grounds. To summon a god, one must have holy grounds upon which to do it. Suitable locations include Mifunashiro, the Tokyo Diet Building, and the Amala Temple. There may be other places as of yet, but none have been found. All right. Well, now the part that we've all been waiting for. Combat. How the hell are you fighting this goddamn game? There's a lot of stuff that we've read so far. This is the part that worries me. I mean, the skill checks were a little bit worrying, but now we're at the real part that worries me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. The world after the conception is one governed by law, by the laws of the jungle. To survive, you must be ready to protect yourself from any and all threats, which will mean using all of your body and your magic. Which will mean fighting using all of your body and magic. Combat scene. Combat is played out as a single scene in Tokyo Conception. Fights are ran in an abstract way, and position on the battlefield is not tracked. In a sense, all that matters is knowing whether you are or are not in combat. Okay. This means that attacks that target all affect anyone involved in the fight at all without regard for position. Let's see, when a combat scene starts, the GM should go over which player characters and demons are involved in the fight and figure out who is an ally and who is a foe. GM should also declare whether any NPCs have gotten into the mix or have gotten pulled into the mix. Interesting. Okay, so there is no real grid, but I do know that if you wanted to do a grid, there is a way to do it, because I think it will mention it in a sec, but interesting to know. Okay. I see. Let's see. Rounds. Combat progresses using units of time called rounds. Each combatant gets 1 turn per round. Initiative. When combat starts, the first thing to do for each combatant is to roll initiative. This is done by making a power roll. Great. Okay, power roll plus the combatant's agility. And if 2 or more combatants are have the same initiative, then have those combatants roll a die with a tiebreaker going to who rolled the highest. Combatants declare and resolve their actions according to the initiative order. Okay, so typical. Okay. The combatant with the highest initiative gets to declare, then resolve their action first, then the next one goes, and it keeps on going down the list. Let's see. Combat round ends, and then a new one begins. Combat ends once all opponents on one side have died, fled, or retreated due to negotiation. Okay. Declaring your action. Okay. During their turn on the initiative, combatants may take one action An action is one of the following things: making a basic strike, using a skill, talking, aiding, concentrating, defending, or using an item. Should a combatant not want to act, there is no need for them to. They may just instead pass. No combatant may change their position in the initiative order. For example, delaying to act after someone. Okay, so you cannot delay action. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense if we're talking like Megami Tensei. You can't delay your action. You would only pass to the next ally. Okay. Okay. I see. So we're not doing some sort of press turn here. Okay. Basic strikes. Making an attack with something innate such as a fist, a fang, or a claw. Use a strength, physical type, target 1, skill potency 0. Okay. Let's see. Human attack. Only humans may use melee weapons or firearms to attack their targets. Attacks made with melee weapons are handled largely with the same as strikes, but depending on the weapon, different power modifiers may apply. Attacks using ranged weapons use agility for their main hits. Okay, very, very true to Megaten here. You know, Agi is the gun stat. Keep in mind that ranged weapons do not add character levels onto damage. They also need to take an action to reload when they're out of ammo. Important. Okay, so we can't just do the regular thing of hand-waving ammo because it's actually kind of important considering how things are in this setting. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I feel like to keep in spirit with how the book wants to do it, I feel like we do need to actually do ammo counting, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Okay, okay. Using a skill, using one non-auto skill you've learned and declaring you wish to use it and paying the cost. Skills differ. You are unable to pay the cost. You can't. Okay, fair enough. Okay. This here is what worries me. Talk. Attempt to negotiate with a demon. See negotiation on page 72. Yeah, we'll worry about that when we get there. Okay. Aid. Supporting one ally by the means in order to give them plus 20 to their next TN. Okay, so you can... Okay, so this is something that the... Earlier, when we were talking about the human class, it recommended if you're playing a reporter, this is what you're going to want to do like every round, is give someone a plus 20 to their next attack. Okay. Let's see, should your target make a different action from that round? They do not get the bonus. Okay, so you have to say, I'm going to aid them, and then you must specify the skill name your target has or their basic strike. Should your target make an action different from the one they named, they do not get the bonus. All right. Yeah, no problem, Hawkins. Appreciate you popping in. Don't worry. We're also probably going to just finish reading through combat, and then we'll probably wrap up and continue reading the rest on another night. I'm taking a look at the time on my end too. Yeah. Yep. Have a good one, Hawkins. Thanks for popping in. Let's see. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, like this is kind of an interesting way to go about it. This is very like old school, I guess you could say. You can just fizzle your allies' action by just changing it up on them, and I'm like, I can understand why that'd be a pain in the ass, and you would probably want to communicate with your players. Like, you need to make sure your team is on point, but, you know, fair enough. Okay, concentrate. Setting up to increase the chances of your next action, name whether you are concentrating on a skill or a basic strike. When you take the action of the named skill or round, they gain a plus 20 to that concentration. Concentrating multiple times on the same action will make the check bonus stack, but once you take the named action, the concentration bonus is lost. Okay, fair enough. Auto-correct or auto-check, you don't need to worry about it. If you would take an ailment while holding a concentration, you lose the concentration bonus, you lose the bonus. Okay, fair enough. Defending. We're going an attack action to devote to defense. At the start, you will gain plus 20 to dodge check. Okay. Using an item. Using some item in your possession. Demons cannot use items unless a skill proficiency allows for them. Using an item is considered an auto success for check purposes. All right. I mean, fair enough. Attacks. An attack is when you do a basic strike, a physical strike to an enemy, or a magical skill. attacks X enemies. There may be some items that use the same phrasing. Those count as well. Any attack may be avoided through a dodge check. When attacking, first make a hit check, and basic strikes and physical attacks use strength, while spells use magic. Okay. Okay, so this is just like a basic identification on this. Let's see, when this check is a critical, all effects are doubled and it should deal double damage. The resistance is renewed. Okay, we already went over that. Okay. Dodging. Let's see. Regardless of whether the attack is a physical or magical attack, if an attack roll is a success, then we can attempt to avoid it by doing a roll check. If the roll is successful, the attack is treated as a miss. Let's see. It downgrades to a normal hit only if a critical dodge. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Ooh. Okay. Here's where we're talking like meat and potatoes here. Oh yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on. Wow. Perfect timing for the music on this. Also, yeah, it's funny that we're looking over like a lot of the combat section here because, you know, it makes sense that the combat section would be as long as it is because that's Mega 10 for you. I mean, that's the bulk of it is going to be mostly combat. Okay. Let's see. Damage. Okay, we kind of already went over damage calculation, but I guess this is still good to just double check and have it reiterated here again. Let's see. Target's resistance applies to reducing it, then the damage may also be affected by the affinity. Okay. I see. Got it. Death. Okay, actually, I am kind of curious with this. When a character's HP is reduced to 0 through damage or other means, they die. HP cannot go into the negatives. If the damage is reduced, let's see. Okay. Basically, you can't go into the negatives. You hit 0, you're dead. Got it. Okay. Affinity. All attacks have an affinity. Even basic strikes possess the physical affinity. Fiends and demons all have their own ratings versus specific affinities. Okay, so this is just going over the main Mega 10 mechanic. Now, this is kind of interesting because, again, there kind of is this in old D&D and like other tabletop RPGs, but as this is Mega 10, yes, this is going to be kind of the core mechanic here. Let's see. When dealing damage, modifiers from affinities are applied before resistances. So skills may alter one's affinity ratings like in the following order: repel, drain, null, strong, weak. Yeah, that sounds great. With repel having the highest priority. A demon who is weak to fire when hit with Agi, included by the effect, in total, let's see, the incoming damage is 31. But because they have a magic resistance of 7 and they are weak to fire, the damage is now doubled to 62. Then it subtracts the resistance. Okay, I see. So there is still an order of operation you need to maintain here. Okay. I see. Okay. Let's see. Strong, damage, and ailment effect rates are both halved. Null, no damage or any application. Drain, damage is nullified. Instead, the target drains HP equal to the amount of damage it would have taken. Damage nullified. Instead reflects to the attacker. Okay. Expectation ailments versus... Okay. Exceptions of this. Ailments attacks versus ailment like weaknesses. These affinity ratings have an effect on ailments. Okay, it makes it less effective, more or less. Okay. Yeah, that checks out. Okay. HP and MP recovery. Let's see. Recovers in the following situations: using an item, skill, or shot with the recovery effect, completely recovered at the end of a session, or completely recovered on level up. Yep, sounds about right to me. See, when injured, NPCs don't appear in a scene. Next time they appear, they fully recover. GM may also alter that. It's okay. We don't need to worry about that. Oh yeah. Buffs and debuffs are your favorite. Look, I think that's going to be really interesting because Mega 10 does have like a lot of status ailments. Same thing like a regular TTRPG. But, you know, I am curious to sort of see how this is going to work in this situation. Okay, stone. You've been turned to stone. You cannot dodge. You have half AC. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Yep, they kept that. However, when struck with a physical element, you have a 30% chance to shatter and die. Yikes. That's bad. This ailment ends once combat ends, or may be healed by magic items or that. Fly. You've been cursed due to Ball's curse. All stats and other than agility are treated as though they are 1. All damage received is doubled. This ailment only ends once combat ends. That is, dude, that is the most specific status ailment for one fight that you may never see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 30% shatter death that's terrifying, dude. Okay, stun. When making attacks against enemies, let's see. The check will be whatever is lower than your current value or 25. Healing support is auto success. You're not affected by that. Okay. Charm. Spells you place under an enemy control, you are temporarily treated as an NPC and given to the GM to control. This ailment ends once combat ends, or may be healed by magic or items. Okay. Poison. Poison has invaded your body, weakening you. You have all damage you inflict. Wow, that's really bad. Hold up. You have all damage you inflict with attacks. Each time you receive non-reactive action, you lose 1d10. Oh my god, dude. You just bleed out. Dude, poison's fucked up. That's way worse. Mute. Your magic skills have been sealed. You may not use spells or magic skills. This ailment may only be healed by magic or an item. Restrain. You're rendered helpless, and though fully bound in chains, usually caused by attacks on the nerve system, you may not take any action at all, dodging including. Any physical ailment you receive becomes a critical hit. This ailment ends once combat ends or magically healed. Oof. That's fucking brutal, dude. Actually rough. Holy. Okay, freeze. You become frozen and unable to move. You may not take any actions at all. Physical ailments, attacks that hit you become critical hits. Also, you may take physical element damage normally, even if you are a fizz repel. Okay. This ailment ends once combat ends, or you save. Even if you fail to save, you automatically recover on the start of your next turn. Sleep. You've fallen into a sleep and cannot wake from it. You may not take any actions at all, including dodging. At the start of your turn, recover HP and MP equal to your vitality plus level. I mean, okay, at least I kept that on the sleep status. This ailment ends once combat ends, or yeah, okay, you make a save, or you automatically recover if you take damage. Panic. You've lost your mind and cannot make sensible actions. Whenever you attempt to take an action, there's a 50% chance you instead will take a different stranger action. This is represented by the table below. Yeah, you roll 1d10, the panic table. Okay, let's see what happens here. Toss out some money, losing 10% of your currently held money. If you don't have any money, then pay the lowest cost of your lowest cost skill, though you may not actually use the skill. You're spacing out and taking no action. You start talking funny, make a negotiation check. If you fail, the demon will chew you out and attack you once. If a critical hit, if a critical hit, then they'll give you an item. That's funny. You fall asleep and you are inflicted with sleep. You dance, twirl, and take other strange actions. Everyone laughs at you. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Shock. You're prevented from actions. Physical damage becomes a crit. Once this ailment ends, you may save against... Okay, yeah, we already know how this is going to go. Special things. Insta-kill. You are dead. Yeah, that sounds about right. Insta-kill. You are dead. Your HP is 0. You may not take any actions at all. You can only recover from the status ailment if a resurrection spell or magic item is used. I mean, yeah, it says it on the tin. And curse. You're suffering from a curse. You usually caused by fumbling or being targeted with a curse. You automatically fail. Okay, we already talked about curse. Effect rate. When being hit by an ailment attack, if you fail to make your dodge, make a percentile roll. If the number is rolled equal to or less than the rate, you take the ailment. When a PC would take an ailment, the PC does the roll. When an NPC takes it, the GM does the roll. Okay. When the ailment attack rolls a critical, the effect is doubled. So it otherwise would double the check. Otherwise, the affinity. Okay, I see. Got it. Demon who is weak to ice magic, and ailments is critically hit with Mabofu. Additionally, fumbles the rolls. So that would mean a 32 times bonus applies to the effective hit rate because it cannot go above 95. It makes it roll with the TN of 95. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is just the table. Saves and boss traits. Okay. Interesting. You know what? Tell you what. I think we're going to save this part. We'll pick up from here. I'm just going to write a note to myself here, because I know we're starting to get around our usual time here. So let me just double check this. Okay. Writing this down here for myself. We're on page 72. Got it. There we go. And yeah, so let me, hold on, let me switch up the music too while we're getting ready to pack it up for the night here. Didn't need to listen to the Mitama theme. You know what? What's a good one? Ooh. Banger. All right, we're ending this on a bang. Okay, so let me get us ready to get out of here for the night. And don't worry, definitely, you know what? Next tabletop stream, we're going to continue reading this because it's a really good read, surprisingly. I'm having a lot of fun reading through this. Also helps me out since I'm planning on running this as a one-shot for my actual D&D group. So, doing a little bit of extra homework here, I don't mind. It's always fun reviewing these other books. What can I say? So, on that note, let me jump us over here. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Faves aren't in the book, not even Matador. Oh, unlucky. Also, holy crap, I'm like huge on the screen. There we go. There we go. Now we're back to normal. All right. Well, I got to say, hey, if you're new here, feel free to drop a follow. We're almost at our 150 follower goal. What are we going to do in 150? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I do got to say, thanks again, everyone who's popped in here and hung out with me, whether it be, talking D&D, talking anime, talking games. I'm having a ton of fun, and I hope you guys are having a good time as well. I gotta say, yeah, tomorrow we're gonna be back here playing more Kingmaker. Look, I had a lot of fun with that first part, and we're definitely gonna keep on going and doing good. And on Thursday, we're gonna be back with Kyle and play some more Eternal Punishment. So bam, exclamation point links. Feel free to check me out there. Oh, message failed to send. Uh-oh. Try that again. There you go. You can check out the new short that's up on the short channel where, it's up on the main channel where, it's a little bit of a clip from the last D&D stream where we looked at homebrew and it was very funny. Then you've got the VOD channel where the rest of the week the Final Fantasy II VODs are going to be rolling out. Then if you ever want to know what the schedule is looking like or see sort of what the announcement is for stream or whenever I get to that video, we'll get to that. Feel free to check out on Blue Sky or Twitter, whatever floats your boat. Discord coming soon, main video coming soon. And I think I'm out of here for the night. So I got to say, thanks again, everybody. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good night. Adios.